left in the NHL regular season and good races in all 4 divisions. The only 2 things we know for certain: the Pittsburgh Penguins will finish first in the Patrick, the Buffalo Sabres fourth in the Adams. In the Smythe division, we know who the 4 playoff teams will be. We just don't know the order of the finish. The Vancouver Canucks lead the Calgary Flames by 3 points, but the Canucks also have the toughest schedule remaining, with 2 games each left to play against the Flames and the Los Angeles Kings. The Jets trailing third place LA by 2 points. The Kings have games remaining against the Flames tonight and 2 each versus the Sharks and Canucks. After this evening, the Jets will have 4 games left. 2 of those will be against the Edmonton Oilers, a team they've beaten all but once this season. Well, after being benched the last 3 games, Gene Davidoff back in the Jets lineup. John Druce will sit out. Lots has been said and written about the Jets' fantastic 5 rookies, but come playoff time, you need the veterans like Thomas Steen.
Well, it's going to be all of us. That's for when it comes to playoffs, you need every player, that's for sure. So I don't think, of course, you're going to look at Timo to be our big scorer in the playoffs. We need him, but the rest of us are going to do our jobs too, and especially with veterans, be a big part of it.
The thoughts of Thomas Steen. Now let's get the views of the 2 other members of the CKND broadcast team, Bruce Buchanan and Jim Poplinski.
Thanks, Joe. Good evening, everybody. Jim Poplinski. A team wants to build confidence as it heads to the playoffs, and the Jets are doing that. They won 3 in a row last week on the road.
Well, the last thing that you want to do is be playing poorly and winning games going into the playoffs. It can give you a false sense of security. The Jets haven't been doing that. They've been playing much, much stronger defensively and winning games. That breeds confidence. Gives you a good feeling down the home stretch and into the playoffs.
You can talk about the sensational Solani every night, but as we showed you earlier, a couple of other newcomers have also given the Jets offensive spark: Shamnoff and Kachuk.
Well, you're absolutely right. They also have point-scoring streaks going right now, which is important from a confidence point of view. If you talk to John Paddock, he'll tell you very quickly that Kachuk was his best performer in the playoffs last year, and he would love to be able to have a more difficult decision from a positive point of view with regard to Shamnoff going into the playoffs as well.
The Flyers' leading scorer is right winger Mark Recchi, who's picked up in Philadelphia, right where he left off in Pittsburgh.
Well, this guy has to have the quietest 51 goals of anyone in the National Hockey League this year. He hasn't played with Lindros the entire season, and that means that he's done a lot of it on his own, but he's done a great job for the Philadelphia Flyers, and although their chances of making the playoffs this year are minuscule, guys like Recchi will really hold them in good stead going into the season next year.
And the battle is still on for 3rd place in the Smythe division. The Jets trailing the Kings by just 2 points heading into tonight's action.
Well, there's all sorts of combinations and permutations. It wouldn't surprise me to see Vancouver move to 2nd, Calgary move to 1st, Winnipeg go to 3rd, and Los Angeles go to 4th, have a complete change in all the standings and still have the same playoff matchups. It's anybody's guess as to what's going to happen until this last game is played.
Jets and Flyers going at it tonight. Up next, we will have the opening face-off between Philadelphia and Winnipeg live on CKND, your home station.
Just when you thought it would never happen, it happens. But you know who to call.
Welcome back. Winnipeg Jets and the Philadelphia Flyers tonight at the arena. The Flyers with 2 points less than they had at this last season. We talked to Eric Lindros about the patience of rebuilding.
When we do move up, we're going to appreciate it. You know, I think that we've had some tough times down here, and it's not only been hard on some of the guys, but their families. And I think that the more you win, the happier you are. And I think that the happiness is going to come back around this year and some more, and it's going to continue to be there.
6 of the games in the National Hockey League tonight, 4 of which are already underway. Later on this evening, Calgary taking on Los Angeles, Edmonton playing San Jose. Scoreless between St. Louis and Tampa Bay. That one is in the 2nd. Patterson has the goal for Buffalo. They lead Minnesota 1-0 in the 1st. Cam Neely with his 7th goal in the last 11 games for the Boston Bruins. They lead the Quebec Nordiques 2-1, a very important Adams Division matchup there. And it is Washington leading the New York Islanders 2-1. Turgeon with his 52nd for the Islanders. And the Islanders, of course, 1 point ahead of the New York Rangers for the 4th and final playoff spot in the Patrick. Here are the records since March 17th of the Smythe Division teams, and you can see the Winnipeg Jets On top with the Los Angeles Kings, the two hottest teams right now in the division, and the two teams battling it out for third place at the moment. Let's send you upstairs to Bruce Buchanan and Jim Poplinski.
Okay, thanks, Joe, and once again, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the second and final meeting of the season between the Winnipeg Jets and the Philadelphia Flyers. 23-year-old Dominic Roussel makes the start tonight in goal for the Flyers. It's his 32nd game of the season. He's 3-2 in his last 5. And 28-year-old Bob Essensa goes for the Jets, his 64th appearance of the season. His second start in the last 4 as they rest him a little bit heading to the playoffs. He's after his 31st win of the year. The referee tonight is 34-year-old Mark Bissett, the linesman Mike Speak, and Swede Knox.
Well, Bruce, we're in for what I think will be an entertaining game, although you're not quite sure what Philadelphia team will show up. Lindros has got a challenge with Solani, and I would think that the A team will be here tonight for the Flyers.
Steen on the left side to Tkachuk. Back to Steen. His slap shot goes wide of the Philadelphia net. Galley is pounded into the boards by Tkachuk. Puck still in the Philadelphia zone. Frederick Olofsson dumps it to the side of the net. Olofsson up front with Boughton and Newmanen on defense. Lindros, the center, tried to shoot it in, and that hit Boughton. Terry Kartner for Philadelphia dumps it into the Jet zone, and it's Olofsson back to get it for Winnipeg. Flyers make a change up front. Olofsson, a nice move on Dineen as he hits the line. On the right side for Thomas Steen. Kartner for Philadelphia. Over to Ryan McGill. Lead pass to Dineen. Tried to slap it in. That hit Ulanoff. Brindamore picks it up for Philadelphia. Still controls it in the corner. Stops. Looks around to the side of the net off the stick of Essensa, and Jamnoff moves it to center. Yuskevich for the Flyers. Off the boards, Dineen let it go. Ulanoff for Winnipeg. Domi on the ice with Jamnoff and Solani for Winnipeg. Just past the 1-minute mark. Housley slides it up for Solani. He bumped with Gary Galley. Ulanoff. Picked up by Housley. Now to Jamnoff. He's checked by Brindamore, and Dineen brings it out for Philadelphia. Housley to Ulanoff. Jamnoff on the right side to Borsato. Roughed up by Galley as he hit the line. Yuskevich down the boards for Dineen. Now to Butsaya. Galley a shot. That drifted wide of the Jets net. Yuskevich right onto the stick of Mike Lawler in front. Lawler to Borsato. Pretty good pace to start this first period.
You'll see a couple of changes in the Jets lineup. Frederick Olofsson, who started playing wing against the Jets' victory in Calgary, is up playing forward again tonight. Well, who's not in the lineup for the Philadelphia Flyers? Rick Natras is at home nursing a bad knee. Boyven Evans at home as well, and Lomakin were scratched. The Winnipeg Jets are happy to say that they haven't got an injury, but the 4 players on the screen aren't particularly excited about not being part of the lineup this evening. Bill Dineen, a little bit like your grandpa, Bruce, a real nice guy. Just a pleasure to chat with, and some people say that one of his weaknesses might be that he is too much of a nice guy, but if somebody were to say that about me, I think I'd take it as a compliment as opposed to a negative comment.
And of course, his son Kevin playing for him in Philadelphia. Eagles kicks it back to Kennedy at the point. He nearly fanned on it, went to Conroy. Just up from Hershey. Conroy a long shot off the glove of Essensa, and it goes wide. Lawler backhands it through center for Winnipeg. Roussel sets it up for Greg Hoggood. To Sean Cronin, the Barbarian. Former crowd favorite here in Winnipeg, led the Jets in penalty minutes last season. Lawler to Borsato. At center to Darren Shannon. Has Eagles with him. Shannon still controls it to Borsato. A shot off the pad of Roussel. Josef Baranek. Stick handling across the Jet line. Baranek still has it. Got a quick shot away. And the save by Essensa. Mark Recchi. He snapped one just wide. Kartner at the left point. Behind the net for Recchi, but play called on the offside. We played 3 minutes, 4 seconds. in the first.
Roussel having to come up with a pretty good save. The Winnipeg Jets can move the puck at times very, very well and quickly out of their own end of the rink. This was an example of that. The right side of your screen generates the scoring opportunity, and Roussel moves across the net from right to left quickly. Had to throw his right leg out in a hurry to stop that scoring attempt by the Winnipeg Jets.
Good look at Thomas Steen in the face-off against Lindros. Tkachuk on the ice, and Jim and I expect to see Tkachuk and Lindros go at it tonight.
Well, these two guys have had an ongoing battle since their days with the American and Canadian national teams. You just saw Tkachuk run into Lindros. I don't think Lindros saw him. And big, strong Tkachuk still went down.
Harry Cartner across to McGill. His pass hit Lindros, came outside the line, and Steen whacks it back in for the Jets. 3.5 minutes gone, first period. Nothing. Shots even at 2 apiece. McGill slots it in for the Flyers. King bumps with Lindros along the boards. Recchi was looking for Cronin. That was picked off by Davidoff, who left it for Stu Barnes. Dick Amling in back to King, the shot! And Roussel makes the save on a hard drive off the stick of Chris King.
Chris King got that shot away very quickly. The Philadelphia defense backed in a little bit more than they would have liked, and as a result, it gave King a much better scoring opportunity. Right here, you see the defense backing up because Brindamore loses his man. King takes advantage of that. If that shot is 6 inches lower, it might be in the net. This was the hit I was talking about. Lindros turns a bit. I'm not sure he sees him coming, but he's so solid on his skates. Tkachuk is no slouch whatsoever, but he still went down on that confrontation.
Good to Dineen off the board. Zulanoff trying to keep it in. It bounced off Kelly Eklund to Housley. Stu Barnes for Winnipeg. Hit Hawgood, and King couldn't pick it up. Dineen to Eklund. On the right side to Brindamore. Left it for Eklund. He stopped. And Ulanoff takes the puck away from him. Ulanoff to Housley. Chips it ahead for King. And he flips it out. Here's Davidoff giving chase, has Barnes with him. Davidoff waits. And then it's swept off his stick by Sean Cronin. Bill Housley with 1 assist away from tying the Jets' all-time mark for helpers in a season. Brindamore trying to use his strength. He's thrown to the ice by King, and the puck came to center. Galley for the Flyers. Brindamore had to let it go, and it's Housley on the left side of the streaking Solani. Goes wide on Yuskevich, cutting in, couldn't get the shot away, and was leveled by Gary Galley. Back comes Fedek for Philadelphia. His shot gloved by Essensa, and he holds on. Just past the 5-minute mark. This is your Molson Bach reserve telecast.
The impact will be powerful. The impact will affect everyone. Because Canadian Tire is dropping prices on many of the brands you use most. No, this is not a sale. It's everyday lower prices on the Black & Decker Workmate 200, now lower every day. And save every day on this Proctor Silex coffee maker. So brace yourself for lower prices today and every day. There's a lot more to Canadian Tire, and now for a lot less.
Well, this guy is going to be in a lot of highlight tapes. Look at the way he drives to the net, gets his shoulder low, and Galley does a great job timing that perfectly to stop Solani from advancing any further.
Lindros wins the draw from Jamnot. Back to Yuskevich, moves to the middle. The slop shot wide of the Jets' goal. Solani couldn't flip it out against Recchi, the crazy H line. On the ice for the Flyers, Brent Fedek, along with Recchi and Lindros. Fedek having a fine season after coming over from Detroit. Gary Galley off the boards to Lindros. Now to Dmitry Yuskevich. Long shot, steered aside. Recchi on the rebound, and he fired wide off the far corner. Yuskevich back in his own zone. Flyers coming off a shutout of the Maple Leafs. They'll be here to play the Jets on Thursday. Teppo Numminen to Boughton. Pass for Solani off his stick into the Flyer zone. Roussel flips it down the boards for Conroy. He let it go, and the puck rolls to center. Just past the 6-minute mark, first period. It's 0-0. Pass on the right side to Conroy. Quick shot off the glove of Essenson. Mike Lawler at the side of the goal. Butsayev for the Flyers. Behind the net to Conroy. Tried to leave it for Butsayev. Conroy has it again. To Baranek in the corner. In the slot for McGill, and it's poked away by Jamnot.
Bruce, this is an area where teams will try to take advantage of the Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg has not been great defensively, even strength. As a result, teams will try to capitalize down deep in their own end.
Essensa around for Darren Shannon. Hartner played it back to McGill. He drives it into the Jet zone. Kennedy tracks it down along the boards. Flips it to center. Eklund. Back to Kartner. Penalty upcoming to the Jets. Dineen slap shot off Lawler's stick, and the puck goes sailing into the crowd, but the Jets will be shorthanded.
Now, Mike Eagles will get the gauge for cross-checking. I thought he had pretty good pursuit on the puck on Pelle Eklund, and he even put his stick down. Watch how his stick goes down towards his knees. He doesn't put it up high, but uses it to push a little bit. I don't mind a body check like that, and if I was doing the officiating, I would have let that one go. Eagles didn't get the break. John Paddock will take his penalty killing that's currently ranked 10th in the National Hockey League against the Flyers' power play. The Flyers have not had a great power play, and one of their problems has been finding a guy that can carry the puck into their zone.
Power play pretty good in the last 4. Boughton couldn't clear it, but gets some help from Teppo Numminen. Eagles now with 131 minutes in penalties on the season as Numminen backhands it in. Greg Hagen into the corner. Steen back to Numminen at center. He dumps it deep into Flyers territory. Gary Galley lead pass way behind Brind'Amour. Numminen trying to cut him off, and the Flyers are called for icing with 1:24 left in the penalty to Mike Eagles.
Well, Eric Lindros at 6'5", 235 is without question one of the larger 20-year-olds in the league. Even though he has missed a handful of games, he's third in rookie scoring. And he has got some very impressive rookies accompanying him. How about the Olympic penetration in rookie scoring? You would have to be a genius to see how many players were involved in the Olympics and now occupy the top 5 spots in rookie scoring.
You were talking about it before the game, Jim. What a great crop of rookies in the NHL this year, and it really created some excitement around the league as Galley dumps it in for Hagen, and a delayed offside. Well, they'll call it icing on Philadelphia.
Greg Hagen coming from the Edmonton Oilers and ending up in a team that won't make the playoffs as well.
Hold it, back it up, forward. Geez, I'm starting to sound a lot like Howie. What are these two guys wagering on tonight's Sports Select game? You don't have to be a rocket surgeon to know who's who. When you make a Sports Select wager, you become part of the battle. And when you get a game winner... Oh, look at that guy. Hey, somebody tell that other guy to get a life. Flo, tell him to get into the game. Lou knows the winner.
Play pro line and over under.
Hard working, hard driving, rock solid trucks.
Here in Manitoba, Chevy builds rock-solid value into all its trucks. So get your hands on a full-size extended cab truck with a mean V8 and responsive 4-speed automatic with overdrive, plus air and a whole bunch more. This Chevy extended cab equipped with rear anti-lock brakes is rock bottom priced at $18,888. But not for long. See your Manitoba Chevy dealer. But hurry, they're rolling fast.
.114 left in the penalty to Mike Eagles. Face off near center. Jamnoff winning the draw from Brindamore. Borsato bounces the puck into the Flyer zone. Gary Galley. Straight up the ice for Lindros. That didn't connect. Boughton has it for Winnipeg. As the Flyers having difficulty getting organized on the power play. Now Galley will try it. Gets to center. And dumps it behind the net. Lindros tied up by Jamnoff. Recchi gives it to Brindamore. He lost it, and Darren Shannon shoots the puck down the ice with 35 seconds left in the penalty.
Well, as we said at the start of the power play, the Flyers' power play has not been great, although the graphic that you saw, 6 for 15, shows they have had some success recently. Their real problem is gaining the zone. When they get inside, they can set it up and move it around. But to get the puck, this sort of thing happens where they don't gain the zone, and as a result, teams have pretty good success killing penalties against them.
Jets haven't had any trouble as the penalty winding down to Mike Eagles. Just 4 seconds in it. Yuskevich on the left side to Baranek. Has some room. Flopped it off the side of the net. Now it's center. Comes back to Kartner. Deneen to Kartner along the boards. Back for Deneen. Gets it returned to full strength. Baranek working against Kennedy. Dubutsayev, he turns and fired it through the crease. Chris King ran into McGill. Now it's Eagles off Barnes' stick. Baranek back for it. Barnes centered it, but no Jet there as they were making a line change. Bill Housley to Davidoff. He ran into McGill. Kartner in the corner. Davidoff trying to forecheck. Deneen knocked down by Chris King, and it's Baranek down the left side against Housley. Couldn't beat him. Acton after the puck. Has it. Gives it to Baranek in the corner. In the slot for Fedek, and the puck comes out to center. 9:45 left first period. Jets nothing, Flyers nothing. The shot 6-3 in favor of Philadelphia. Ellie Ekman's pass picked off by King back to Ulanoff, who had to be careful with Acton and Fedek moving up. Ellie Ekman to Fedek. He rolls it into the Jet zone. Housley saw Recchi coming. Stu Barnes at center to Davidoff. Now to Housley. For Stu Barnes. He was checked by Yuskevich. Domi gets it to Barnes in front for Davidoff, and the play broken up by Conroy. Domi bumps with Yuskevich in the corner. Gary Galley to Eklund. Domi cruising around. Conroy for the Flyers. Domi gets a hand from the fans for his forecheck. Boughton off the boards for Domi. Ulanoff has it. Out of center for Solani. He can't catch up to it. Now he does. Almost got a backhand shot away. Ian McGill battle for it. Side of the net. Mark Recchi for the Flyers. Gives it to Conroy. Back to Recchi. Through center. He was looking for Lindros. Nice defensive play there by Newman. Recchi left it for Lindros. Dumps it into the corner. Newman. To the point. Kartner has it for the Flyers. To Lindros. Quick shot. That went wide as Recchi tried to tip it. Here's Solani with Jamnoff. Solani left it for him as they crisscross. A shot by Jamnoff and the save by Dominic Roussel. 7:56 left in the first. No score in the arena.
When it's time to buy a new or used car or truck.
Keystone's the key.
When you want the most for your money and the best price in the province.
Keystone's the key.
When you want the best values and best selection of quality Ford vehicles.
Keystone's the key.
When you want quality service after the sale and extended service hours.
Keystone's the key.
And when you want to do business with Western Canada's leader in customer satisfaction.
Keystone's the key.
Only Keystone Ford has the key to your driving future. Keystone Ford, we're doing the deal.
I'm a woman who wants to leave a lasting impression. For me, nothing holds a look like Alberto's European hairspray. If I'm bored with my wardrobe, I turn to Alberto's European styling bag. You can decide what to wear. Begin with your hair.
Roussel spends his off seasons in Laval, Quebec. He spends all of his winter since he was drafted by the Philadelphia Flyers in Philadelphia.
His backup tonight, Soderstrom, 4 shutouts on the year. Brindamore back to Deneen, the slap shot, and a 6-save by Essenson. Lawler around the boards and out for the Jets. Jason Bowen, the rookie, just up from Tri-Cities. His first shift of the period. Brindamore is flattened by Dean Kennedy. Couple of big boys colliding there. Kachuk backhands it in for Freddie Olofsson. Roussel around the board. Steen traps it in the corner to Lawler in the slot. Backhand shot right onto the stick of Galley, and he clears it. Flyers nearly had a 2-on-1 with Eklund and Brindamore. Olofsson to Steen in the corner. Back to Olofsson behind the net. Pass through center for Steen, that off the stick of Josef Baranek. John Cronin moves it quickly to Galley. He hits Butsayev at center across the line. Drop pass for Baranek. His shot off the stick of Eagles. And another souvenir for the fans off to the right of Bob Essenson.
Well, a good play by the Philadelphia Flyers, moving the puck up quickly to center. You back off in a hurry so that you don't get caught, and when the team dumps the puck back, all of a sudden there's a gap. A good body check here by Dean Kennedy. Brindamore saw it coming and put on the air brakes. He didn't get the full force of 26 White, but he got a good portion of it, and it was that body check by Dean Kennedy that created a little bit of havoc in the Flyers zone and benefited the Winnipeg Jets.
30-year-old Jets captain playing his 598th NHL game tonight. He's been around the league a little bit, but has found a stable home in Winnipeg. 6:40 remaining first period. 0-0. Butsayev for the Flyers. Dumps it into the Jet zone, and Ulanoff is back to pick it up. To Darren Shannon. Pass on the right side for Solani. He's onside. Had trouble controlling the bouncing puck. Yuskevich is hit by Shannon. Here's Shannon. His shot goes wide. Vedek couldn't bank it off the board. Shannon behind the goal. Yuskevich for the Flyers, the rookie Russian defenseman. Shannon centers it for Shannon. Puck loose in the crease. And pouncing on it is Dominic Roussel. Well, plenty of action out of town tonight. Here's Joe.
Thank you very much, Bruce. The New York Islanders are leading Washington Capitals now 3-2. Turgeon with his second of the game, 53rd of the season, and Ferraro with the other goal for the Islanders. And the Boston Bruins look like they'll be moving into first place in the Adams division. Wesley and Donato have added to their lead. They lead the Nordiques 4-1. A win will put them a point ahead of the Canadiens.
That's a great race going on in the Adams division.
But Bill Dineen is not a coach to change his lines. Once the game starts, he pretty much sticks with set line combinations, whereas John Paddock will switch them up in a hurry. He's done that so far. Shannon is with Solani's line now.
Newman's shot went just wide. Yuskevich to Brindamore. He crisscrossed at the line with Dineen. Now Dineen has it. Turning away from Newman. Back to Brindamore. His pass picked off by Newmanen. He brings it to center. Pass ahead for Domi. Moving in against McGill. Domi after behind the net. He went down. And McGill has it to Dineen. Another 30-goal season for Dineen, his 5th in the NHL. Jets making a change, and it's McGill ahead to Dineen. Stopped at center by Barnes. Usayev with Baranek. The number 42 of the Flyers was offside on the play.
Tikhonov always said that you had to be hard on Gene Davidoff in order to get results from him. Well, when the Winnipeg Jets started the season, they needed scoring, and Davidoff was allowed to do pretty much whatever he wanted. But now that the team is having success and is more disciplined, Davidoff has been required to discipline his game. And when he hasn't done that, John Paddock has simply sat him out. But there's always a risk at wondering how far you can go by sitting somebody down and being hard on them. You run the risk of taking a guy down too far, and he can never rebound. Paddock getting him back in the lineup after missing 3 and hoping that he responds.
Yeah, Gene will have a tough time maintaining his sense of humor.
Well, I don't think so.
Utsayev knocked it down in front. Backhand shot wide of the net. Baranek behind the goal. Utsayev. Baranek setting up in front. Utsayev to the front of the goal, and Solani takes it away for the Jets. Has Thomas Steen with him. Solani in for Steen, as Galley had number 13 of the Jets lined up. Mark Recchi couldn't beat Ulanov. Ahead for Steen. Here's Galley. Pathetic. Pass went off the referee. Possett. Solani was tripped up, and play carries on. Roussel out to play it. And almost gave the puck away to Thomas Steen. Fans booing, they wanted a penalty. Lindros was hit by Ulanov. Has it again, but the play was broken up neatly by Phil Housley. Here's Chris King giving chase. Galley trying to catch him, but King put himself offside.
Well, Gary Galley has had the job tonight of staying on top of Skalani. You'll notice that when he's been on the ice, Galley has been fairly close to him. He's laid a couple of good body checks, and it doesn't necessarily stop a player, but it certainly makes a guy, even if he has the skill and perseverance of Solani, stop once in a while and make sure that he knows who's coming. Galley has done a great job of timing body checks, and good, honest ones on Solani, and as a result, the Finnish Flash has not had a great scoring chance yet.
Already holds or shares 13 Jet records. Teemu Solani. Lindros went after Boughton, and Boughton steps in to him. Now he's after Kartner as play continues on. Fedek shot, and a big save by Essenson. Rebound, and McGill fanned on it. Boy, there was action at both ends of the ice. Recchi for Fedek. It came to King, and he will clear it for Winnipeg. McGill shooting it in. Boughton was caught out of position because he was going after Lindros and Kartner. Puck is centered. Here's Lindros turning in the corner to Mark Recchi. Took a slash from Chris King. Lindros' shot goes wide. Bounced off the backboards, and Stu Barnes clears it for Winnipeg.
Well, in that flurry, Bruce, I have to be brutally honest. I was watching the other end of the rink. You can look after the goals. I wanted to see if there was anything taking place at the Flyers' blue line.
I almost got caught watching it too, Jim. There's Brind'Amour for Philadelphia. Pass, pace, first period, still no goals. Brind'Amour to Dineen. Drops it to Cronin. The shot, they score!
Well, a local company with the Winnipeg Jets had a substantial sum of money every time Sean Cronin scored a goal for the Winnipeg Jets. Well, he was involved in this one. There was a definite deflection that eluded Essens. Here's the shot. And I think it might have gone off his teammate's stick. Right now, Cronin's getting credit for the goal at the video replay, and an honest teammate may end up changing this one.
John Cronin stepping in from the line and whipping a shot that appeared to be tipped in giving the Flyers a 1-0 lead. John Cronin getting credit. Shamrock to Speed. Into the Flyers zone. Drop pass to Shamrock. To Housley to Solani off the goalpost. What a passing play. Steen shoots wide. Solani trying to center it. Boy, talk about tic-tac-toe passing by the Jets. And Solani came within an inch of finishing it off.
There haven't been a whole lot of great passing plays in the first period. Some pretty good action. That's been the first real tic-tac-toe that we've seen in the initial 18 minutes.
Cronin second from Dineen and Brind'Amour at 17-10. And play called. You're watching the Jets live on CKND, your home station.
I have a blind date tonight, and you know what they say about first impressions. Do I reveal my nutritious, ready-for-commitment side with 100% whole wheat, or do I let loose the fun-loving Mr. Mini-Wheat with my great-tasting light frosting? I really wanted to like me.
Then show her both sides, Mr. Mini-Wheat.
You think so?
Yeah, show her everything a Mini-Wheat from Kellogg's has got, and she'll be back for more.
You'll never leave my side.
Well, now, Mr. Mini-Wheat.
She'll be my true love forever. Oh.
Let's not get carried away.
It's price to go time at Hyundai. Right now, $99.95 gets you into this sporty 16-valve Elantra family sedan. This price to go Sonata is only $11,995. And it's loaded with luxury. And every Hyundai has one of the best warranties plus 24-hour roadside assistance. If you're into sports, this $10,495 Scoop will leave you breathless. And Excel CX is a steal at $72.95. But you'd better be quick because these price-to-go Hyundais are disappearing fast.
Take a look at this passing play. Some real skill involved. I thought that Jamna was going to shoot. Then I thought that Halsey was going to shoot. But Solani ended up firing it off the post. He did a great job to corral that one in close to his feet and get the puck up.
Galley at the point. His shot. Right on. Essensa kicks that away. Lindros. Back on the ice, so is Boughton. Lindros trying to go after him, but he was held up by Mike Eagle. Mark Recchi to the far corner. Lindros after Boughton again and rides him out of the play. Eagle shoots it in. It's all good to stop him behind the net. Domi trying to center it off a skate, and it went by Newman. He collects it near center. Eagles bumps with Conroy. Terry Kartner plays it back to Yaskevich. He lifts it into the Jet zone. Mike Eagles for Winnipeg. To Teppo Newman. Looking for Shannon. And Baranek has it for Philadelphia. To Kartner. Minute to go, first period, 1-0 Philadelphia on a goal by Sean Cronin. McGill dumping it in. Boughton to Domi. Well, the Flyers are after Boughton as Recchi hit him twice. Jamnock trying to stick handle around McGill. Fights him on. Now Housley at the point. His shot off the leg of Fedek. And Lindros clears it. Cooling off to Solani. We're in the last minute of the first. To Jamnock. He's hooked down by Lindros. And back come the Flyers. Recchi without his helmet. McGill shoots wide. That comes out the other way to Lindros. Stick handling in the corner. Feeds it back to Galley. His shot is kicked away by Essensa. Recchi in front for Fedek. Loose puck. And Essensa has it between his pads. With 10.5 seconds remaining in period one. And now for what's coming up in the first intermission, here's Joe Pascucci.
Thanks, Bruce. I'll be talking with the Jets' Luciano Borsato, and we'll also have part 6 of our sports medicine feature, the hand and the wrist.
And John Druce might be watching this intermission. Lindros running into him and causing him to miss 18 games with an injured wrist due to the check from Lindros. I can't stress how strong this guy is. When he takes players into the boards like he just did Boughton, it's like an 18-year-old playing with a 6-year-old. He's that strong. Maybe not bench pressing or push-ups, but when it comes to raw strength, baby, you're just not going to move this guy.
Eagles is waved out, and Borsato, our first period guest, intermission guest, steps in. Galley, his shot tipped, and the puck bounced through the crease. 5 seconds left in the period. Flyers trying to get another shot. Brind'Amour, his attempt went wide, and the horn sounds to end the first.
The Philadelphia Flyers out shooting the Winnipeg Jets 12-5. Not a lot of great chances by the Flyers, but some pretty solid road hockey, not giving up a lot and capitalizing by dumping a puck at the net, scoring on a deflection.
So the lone goal of the first is Sean Cronin, the score after 20 minutes of play. The Flyers 1 and the Jets nothing.
Going and going. Energizer. Absolutely nothing lasts longer.
Hard working, hard driving, rock solid trucks.
Here in Manitoba, Chevy builds rock-solid value into all its trucks. So get your hands on a full-size extended cab truck with a mean V8 and responsive 4-speed automatic with overdrive, plus air and a whole bunch more. This Chevy extended cab equipped with rear anti-lock brakes is rock-bottom priced at $18,888. But not for long. See your Manitoba Chevy dealer. But hurry, they're rolling fast.
Why is Red Lobster's new steak and 19 shrimp so delicious? Well, first we splash it, spice it, sizzle it, sear it, and serve it, so you can savor it. Introducing garlic shrimp, fried shrimp, and our new tender top sirloin. All three together, just $12.99. So slice it, spritz it, dip it, don't miss it. Steak and 19 shrimp, only $12.99 tonight at Red Lobster.
Leave your car in secure hands at Executive Air Park. Only 2 minutes from the airport by our personal shuttle service. Your vehicle will stay just the way you left it in our secure heated indoor parkade or outdoor fenced-in compound. Hand washes, oil changes, and other services are also available, including free boosting if your car won't start. You'll never be left out in the cold again when you park your car at Executive Air Park.
Your wheat and barley can get a rough ride from some wild oat and green foxtail herbicides. But unlike other post-emergence, Achieve single-handedly knocks out grass weeds without going against the grain. Achieve smokes wild oats when they're between 1 to 6 leaves, so all spring wheat, all barley can develop safely. Flexible, tank mixable Achieve. Grass weed control that doesn't go against the grain.
If you're looking for the refreshing taste of Miller Genuine Draft in a light beer, Molson introduces Miller Genuine Draft Light. It puts cold in a whole new light.
In 193 games of the Winnipeg Jets, Sean Cronin only scored 1 goal. Well, in his first season with the Philadelphia Flyers, first game back to Winnipeg, Sean Cronin scores his second of the season. The Philadelphia Flyers leading the Winnipeg Jets 1-0. Joining me now, a Jets center and winger, Luciano Borsato. Luciano, ¿cómo está?
Much male.
I think that's pretty good. Luciano, was a pretty kind of good first period for the Winnipeg Jets. You had a good scoring opportunity, but there were few and far between for Winnipeg.
Yeah, it was kind of sloppy period. You know, nobody got a flow going. You know, when Alex and Timo were on, they got something going. But besides that, we have to do a little bit better next period.
You were drafted by the Jets in 1984, the 135th pick overall. You're of all the players that they drafted that year, you're the only one still with the organization. You played 1 year in Finland. Tell us about that.
Yeah, after university, I went to Finland. Winnipeg sent me there. It was a good experience, good hockey, really good hockey, and helped me out, I guess, right here.
Well, you scored 31 goals in that season in Finland. Teemu Selänne's best season in Finland, he only scored 33.
Well, I got to play on the top line all the time. I got to play a lot in the power play and stuff, and I just, maybe the goalies aren't as good there.
Did it help you out?
Yeah, it did help me out, skating out, and it was a good experience.
All right, last season, 15 goals with the Winnipeg Jets. This season, got 14, only 3 points back of last season's pace. So, basically, are you happy with the year?
Yeah, it's a different kind of role, and more of a checking role, and we're doing a good job, hopefully.
All right, I got your hockey stick here. Tell us about the tape job at the end here.
Well, I think my dad did that when I was 6, and
don't know if he knew too much about hockey at the time. He was a big soccer fan, and he just taped it up, and I've always had it. Sometimes it's even bigger than that. The guys just joke around all the time about it.
All right, Luciano, good luck the rest of the season, and good luck in the rest of the game.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
Jets, Luciano Borsato, the Winnipeg Jets trailing the Philadelphia Flyers 1-0 after 20 minutes. Coming up next, Part 6, our Sports Medicine feature. Tonight, we look at the hand and the wrist.
Need any help with dinner?
No, thanks. I've got everything under control. Imagine chunky garden vegetables, chopped, sliced, and diced. Wholesome ingredients and carefully selected spices coming together in a slow-simmered sauce. With Uncle Ben's Meal Maker's sauces, you'll turn ordinary chicken into a delicious meal the whole family will love. Uncle Ben's, perfect every time.
With our job, you're in different places all the time, working with different people. Your hair is done, everything's ready, and then, oh, we've got to change the light, or we've got to change something.
New Pears with Pro-Vitamin B5. It penetrates each hair shaft and helps it retain moisture.
After I used the Pears conditioner, it was just so soft and easy to comb through. Made it really nice and manageable and soft. Very manageable. It was fantastic. Such an asset to have healthy-looking hair.
New Pears Pro-Vitamin Conditioner. You've heard how the experts feel. Now it's up to you.
Bill? Hey, Terry, can you pass me that jug, please?
Co-op DMO. Use this all the time?
Yeah, sure. It's a great oil. Co-op blends it in Western Canada for the kind of conditions we get here. You know it protects the engine under heavy loads. Co-op delivers the barrels right to the shed.
And you use DMO and everything?
Sure, all my equipment gets DMO.
Co-op DMO. Tough oil for tough conditions. On sale now at your local co-op.
So do you still think you're seating tomorrow?
Aren't you?
Promotional consideration provided by Optex Binoculars. Superior quality, deluxe features, excellent value, all backed by an industry-leading no-fault warranty. See your retailer today.
Welcome back. As you heard Jim Poplinski say during the telecast, John Drew's missing some time this season because of a hand and wrist injury. Well, that is the final installment of our series on sports medicine.
Slash heel first. Kind of a two-handed chop right to the hand. That was a chop more than a slash. Lemieux goes down. He's injured his left hand.
The hand is a very complicated set of joints. There are tendons, nerves, and 27 individual joints that need to move to get a hand functioning. For the hand to function as a coordinated unit requires all these tendons, nerves, and joints to move together. And when there's injuries, the hand stiffens, and it becomes a major problem unless we start aggressive and intensive therapy early.
Hold that now. Hold, hold, hold. Good stuff. And relax it.
The bones of the forearm are the radius and the ulna, and they allow the arm to move in a circumferential movement. The carpal bones, or bones of the wrist, allow up and down movement. The metacarpals are the bones of the hand and are often broken in fighting, and the phalanges are the finger bones. The magnetic resonance imaging gives us views we never had previously. We can see the radius and the ulna and the carpus bones. You can see the actual ligaments of the wrist and the cartilages inside the wrist joint. If these are injured, early diagnosis and proper treatment can prevent them becoming chronic problems. Typical hockey injury, this man would go up against the boards and force his wrist backwards. You can see how the bone would break and this ulnar bone would stick out to the side of his wrist. So what we have here now is a large bone coming out of the ulnar side of his wrist and marked instability. And he could dislocate these bones. And what we have to do is shorten this bone by taking the segment out in order to restore function to his wrist. Slashing will cause damage to the scaphoid, or one of the small bones in the wrist. Sometimes this will heal in a cast, but if it doesn't, an operation is necessary. And these fractures can be very troublesome. A gamekeeper's thumb is caused by forcing the thumb backwards, either with a stick or a puck or somebody else's hand. It tears the ligament to the side of the thumb. Usually we put this in a cast, followed by intensive therapy to regain movement and strength. Extensor tendons are torn by grabbing a jersey in a fight or in a tussle. These tendons can be torn off by the force of the grip on the opponent's shirt or clothing. These sometimes respond to conservative treatment with therapy, and sometimes operations are necessary. Early rehabilitation of hand injuries is vital to restore the range of movement, the power, the flexibility, and the coordination of the hand. Without this, the hand is destined to become stiff and painful and perhaps useless. So now we've finished our operation. We've closed the skin with steel staples. You can see that we've restored the alignment of the wrist, so the big bump isn't there. We've restored the stability to the wrist, and the movement is excellent. So this man can start moving right away and should have a good result.
Well, it was a busy season for the Jets medical staff. A number of players injured, but right now everyone is healthy as we head into the playoffs. And speaking of the playoffs, we'll check out the other games tonight in the NHL as we look at the Reimer Express out-of-town scoreboard. That comes up right after this when hockey returns on CKND.
Beaver Lumber presents surprising paint facts. Fact: now there's an interior paint with color so bright and vivid it makes others seem old and dull. Behr Premium Plus, the paint made with pure, clean titanium. Fact: now there's an interior paint so durable it will stand up to thousands of scrubs. Behr Premium Plus, the paint made with pure, clean titanium. Behr Premium Plus, available at Beaver Lumber.
This week at Zellers, only your store has 30% off on a wide selection of spring outerwear for the whole family. Save 30%. Look great in 100% silk, short sleeve, all over printed blouses. A terrific selection of assorted fashion prints, now only $19.97.
Only at your store. Zellers, the lowest prices along every day.
Guaranteed lowest prices and the magic of Club Z, only at Zellers.
Seems like some boys just don't know how to play nice.
So you wanna play tough?
Introducing the bold new 1993 Ford Ranger.
You say you wanna play mean? Well, if you're gonna play tough, you need the right machine.
With its brand new body, Ranger's just not playing fair.
Wanna play tough? Let's celebrate. You got a new machine.
Ranger, the best-selling compact pickup in Canada.
Will you still feed me for $1.64? Well, here's a really big deal from Pizza Hut. Buy one specially medium pizza and get a second medium cheese pizza for just $1.64. Plus, you could win one of 3 cars, including a classic Studebaker, or $4,000 cash and a trip for 2 to see Paul McCartney live. Paul, winning is easy, and Pizza Hut feeds me for $1.64.
6 other games tonight on the Reimer Express out-of-town scoreboard. Let's look at them right now. A little later on this evening, the Calgary Flames and the Los Angeles Kings. The Flames 3 points back of first place Vancouver and the Smythe. The Kings 2 points up on the 4th place Jets. Also, starting about now, Edmonton taking on San Jose. Actually, that game is in San Jose. That starts at 9:40. St. Louis and Tampa Bay, they're tied at 1 in the second period. Janney with the goal for the Blues. Lafreniere with the goal for Tampa Bay. McGillney has not scored in Buffalo, but the Sabres do lead the Minnesota North Stars 1-0 as they play in the second. Cam Neely has 2 goals, 8 goals in 11 games since his return. The Boston Bruins leading the Quebec Nordiques 6-1. The Bruins, with a win tonight, will move into first in the Adams Division, 1 point up on the Montreal Canadiens. And the New York Islanders trying to increase their 4th place lead on the New York Rangers. They lead the Washington Capitals 3-2. That one is in the second. Turgeon with 2 goals, his 52nd and 53rd. Our score here, the Flyers lead the Jets 1-0. Second period action is next.
feel it.
Buick, the symbol of quality in North America. Park Pontiac's ordered in a limited number of specially priced 93 Regal sedans, complete with V6 air conditioning, power door locks, and AM/FM cassette stereo. All this value and a lot more for only $18,793, freight included. J.D. Power's #1 rated vehicle in initial quality and value in its class.
You got it, Park Pontiac. Buicks, too.
Hi. Need any help with dinner?
No, thanks. I've got everything under control. Imagine chunky garden vegetables, chopped, sliced, and diced. Wholesome ingredients and carefully selected spices coming together in a slow-simmered sauce. With Uncle Ben's Meal Maker's sauces, you'll turn ordinary chicken into a delicious meal the whole family will love. Uncle Ben's, perfect every time.
The first period summary is brought to you by your local bottler of Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing, always Coca-Cola. Just the one goal in the first period. Sean Cronin, second of the year from Deneen and Brindamore at 17-10. Flyers out shooting the Jets 12-5 in the first.
Oh, we talked about how imposing Lindros is. Here's a great example. Boughton is no slouch, and although he's resisting, Lindros simply pastes him. He does that on a regular basis, and he can score as well. Solani has had a great season. These statistics are, if Lindros was not hurt and both players continued on the same pace to the end of the year, Solani with some impressive totals, Lindros not doing a bad job as well.
Flyers with a pretty strong first period. They've gone 118 minutes and 2 seconds without surrendering a goal. Teemu Solani hit the post in the first period. Flyers with an impressive 6-2-4 record against Smythe Division opponents this season.
Now, this will be a little bit more the type of game that Solani will face into the playoffs. Galley, as we've mentioned, has been on him since the start and has played him clean but physically.
Second period underway. Puck got caught up in the skates of the linesman Swede Knox. Here's Luciano Borsato for the Jets. Olesen heads for the net. Puck came back to Tkachuk. He was grabbed by Fedek. Put it behind the net. And it's Kartner for the Flyers. To Ryan McGill. Up for Rucky. Tried to bank it off the boards. Numanen couldn't keep it in. Boughton across to Olesen. His pass off the skate of the veteran Keith Acton, who will turn 35 in April. McGill off the boards. Here's Boughton for the Jets. To Teppo Numanen. Both those defensemen missed some action this year with foot injuries as the Jets are called for icing.
Oh, Freddie Olesen is finding just how much forwards have to skate in the National Hockey League. He jumps up the ice quite a bit. And as a result, John Paddock has put him on a forward line. Olesen catching his breath after a couple of end-to-enders. Pretty good success rate. Well, the first or second times that he was thrown up front this year was against the Calgary Flames. And he did short work of the Flames by scoring the winning goal.
Eklund from the slot. Puck comes back to the edge of the circle. Essenson makes the save on Yuskevich. And Solani for Winnipeg. Tried to split the defense. Unable to do so, and the Jets offside.
Well, there's Galley out on Solani again. And as Solani jumped up on the 1-on-2, Galley gave him a little bit more room, and as soon as things closed up, he closed in on Solani. How about these numbers? The two guys at the bottom aren't finished yet. There's still a fair gap between McGillney and Solani to catch Lemieux, but in all likelihood, Phil Esposito will move 2 notches down the ladder at the end of this season.
Yuskevich to center. Long shot, gloved by Essenson. He'll hang on with Brindamore searching for a rebound.
Well, one of the ways that I rate whether a European is breaking into the North American lifestyle and the ways of the National Hockey League is how interested they are in learning the culture and the language in particular of North America, obviously, a lot of the Soviets have to learn English as they are not well spoken in that particular tongue. And talking to some of the different teammates of Yuskevich, I asked him how his English was coming along. They said he tries hard, but I wouldn't recommend him for a TV interview yet. I get the same comments, Bruce.
Won a gold medal at the 92 Olympics. Now in his first season in the NHL, the 21-year-old Yuskevich, Gary Galley. Rod Brind'Amour, John Paddock changed up his forwards, Davidoff, Shannon, and Barnes on the ice. Ulanoff. Barnes. Pass too far ahead for Davidoff. Just underway in the second period. It's 1-0 Flyers. Shannon along the boards. Kevin Dineen ran into the referee Faucette. And Davidoff has the puck. Knocked away by Dineen. Streaking down the left side. Housley trying to catch him. Dineen into the slot. Got a shot away. And a nice save by Bob Essenson. Good hustle by Kevin Dineen. Good to Sean Cronin. On the right side to Brind'Amour. Paddock trailing the play. Dineen in the slot. Ulanoff takes Brind'Amour out. Paddock goes down in the corner. Barnes for Davidoff. Shannon. Housley with him. Shannon scoops it in. And Haggard picks it up for the Flyers. Drives it into the Jet zone. Recchi in the corner. Puts it behind the net. Stu Barnes whacks it out for the Jets. And Winnipeg called for icing with nearly 3 minutes gone in the second period. Flyers playing well defensively again tonight.
Well, Bob Essenson has faced more than 3 times as many shots as his counterpart at the other end of the rink. 16-5 in favor of the Flyers. Davidoff gets stripped by another 11, and Dineen with some real quick moves. Watch these ones. Housley is fast with his stick, but Dineen still manages to get a great shot away. And Essens is not fooled by the crafty Dineen moving from left to right, trying to go back from whence he came. Essens got the right leg out and thwarted him on that attempt.
Dean Kennedy to Ty Domi. On a line with Eagles and King. He bounced off the glass. But McGill was in position for the Flyers. Conroy at his own line. Lead pass for Butsayev. Saved an icing call. Kennedy to the point. Partner for the Flyers to the backhand. Lost the puck to Ty Domi. He comes out with his former Ranger teammate King. Played it in off the boards. Eagles had a stick lifted by Baranek. Domi turns and shoots. That was deflected to the corner. Kennedy behind the net. Eagles. Here's King, a shot. Roussel the save. And Butsayev gives it to Conroy. Drop pass to Butsayev looking for Kartner, and a good defensive play by Mike Lawler as it opens up a bit. Domi, a nice move on Baranek. Waiting for Elf. Gave it to Eagles, the one-timer, and that goes wide of the net.
It's a real tough play to shoot the way Eagles did, off of his forehand as opposed to his off wing. Very difficult.
Bill Housley moving in against Kartner. Drop pass to Chuck shot off the skate of Kartner. Housley after it along the boards. Lindros gives it to Fedek. Now to Recchi, a 2-on-2. Olesen and Ulanoff are back. Recchi shoots. Here's Fedek in front, and Kachuk got back defensively. Off the glass to the point. Cronin trying to pinch. He and Borsato collide. Recchi has it for the Flyers in front for Lindros. Had his stick lifted by Olesen. Haggard left it for Recchi in the corner. Here's Fedek. He goes down, and the puck came out. That would have been a good scoring opportunity for the Flyers. Fedek. Cronin for Recchi. Craig Haggard. Ian Baranek coming over from Edmonton for Brian Benning. Just past the 5-minute mark, second period, 1-0 Flyers. Thomas Dean to Solani to Zhamnov, shot it wide. Housley along the boards, turns and shoots off the side of the goal. Housley again at the point. A spin move against Lindros. And then his pass was picked off by Eklund. Boy, Phil Housley can turn on a dime as he showed you there. Eklund, his shot into Essensa, takes it off his chest protector and hands it off to Housley. Play continuing right on here in the second. Housley tried to shoot it out off the glass. Brindamore knocked it down. Then he's checked by Steen. Yuskevich knocks it in. We've gone 3 minutes without a whistle. Jamnov to Housley. Shoots it in wide. Steen is bumped by Yuskevich. Solani to Jamnov. Good move around Gelly. Jamnov run. Solani shoots. Purcell was down and the shot didn't get to the net. Solani looking for Housley. Intercepted and Eklund has a breakaway. Dumoulin trying to catch him. Drop past Yuskevich. And a good defensive play. And here's Housley with a breakaway for the Jets. Housley shoots, scores!
Just over 132 minutes, the Flyers have managed to keep pucks out of their net. This is very risky hockey. Look at the guys that are coming back to bail out Housley after he jumped in. A great play by Jamnov, and all of a sudden, Housley returns the favor. He's the last guy back, and now he's got the breakaway. Go figure. A great shot that beats Roussel through the 5-hole. This ties the hockey game, but you don't want to be doing this game in, game out.
Phil Housley scoring on a breakaway. Our first winner in the Safeway Score and Win contest is Mrs. Geraldine Keith of Winnipeg. By attaching a proof of purchase from Mott's Clamato Juice to a ballot provided by our local Safeway, Geraldine has won a set of Ryobi Workforce Power Tools as the Jets tie it on Phil Housley's goal, his 18th of the year. Stu Barnes into the corner against Gartner. Shannon gives it to Barnes in the corner. He couldn't center it. Butsayev to Baranek. Steen and Solani assisting on the goal by Phil Housley. Conroy hit in the corner by Kennedy. Hartner couldn't keep it in at the point. Plays it back to McGill at his own line. Off the boards for Butsayev. Essensa comes out to play it. Baranek, a quick shot with Essensa out of position. Got his arm on it. Butsayev put a pass between a couple of Flyers. The shot by Kartner hit the skate of Kennedy. Davidoff for Winnipeg. To Stu Barnes. Stick handling in. Davidoff was going for the net, but Barnes couldn't get him the puck. And the Flyers ice it as Kennedy is back to touch it for Winnipeg. From the Winnipeg Arena, this is your Molson Block Reserve telecast.
Is this your average house pet?
Ernie, 12B. Recognize anyone?
Ernie, is this your average beer? Molson Special Dry. Starts bold, finishes clean with no aftertaste.
First time he took off like that.
Really?
Molson Special Dry. The evolution of beer.
Play Score and Win at Safeway. Win the Jet Score on CKND. You could win a 20-inch Emerson Combination TV VCR, Bacassa's Orchard Odyssey Dinnerware, the best of Tefal, or a set of Dirt Devil vacuums from Royal Appliance. At the end of each game, we'll award a Canadian Holidays vacation for two to Walt Disney World Resort. Safeway's participating products, Planters Cocktail Peanuts, and Mott's Clamato Juice. Score and Win, another reason we're today's better way.
The goal by Phil Housley on the breakaway is 94th point of the season. He's already broken his own record for points in a season by a defenseman. That's his 94th of the year, as I mentioned. And the Jets trying to get two men into 100 points. Of course, Solani's already hit the mark, and Housley trying to join him. Lead pass for Lindros. Puck at the side of the net. Essensa wasn't sure where it was, but Newmanen picked it up and gave it to Solani. Temu's point streak now at 13 games. Steen whacks it wide of the goal. Yuskevich for Philadelphia. Knocked down by Steen. He put it on Recky's stick. Orfetic at center. Rolled away from him, and Jamnov, who made that fine defensive play to spring Housley, brings it back. Across the line. Full head of steam for Jamnov. Taken to the boards by Yuskevich. He was down and hit by Yuskevich. And Jamnov on his knees in the corner, and the fans booing Dmitry Yuskevich. 1-1 tie in Winnipeg.
You use this on your lawn to make it grow faster. You use this on your lawn to cut it faster. And you use this on your lawn to sell your home faster. A Royal LePage representative and our Home Match computer system are the fast way to sell your home. Home Match matches your home with buyers looking for a home like yours. Royal LePage. The faster you get us on your lawn, the faster the job gets done.
How's it going, eh? We're in the pit of Mr. Lube, eh? Above us, cars are coming in with no appointment necessary, getting an oil and oil filter change. What else?
21-point visual inspection.
Hey, let's do a 21-point visual inspection.
Great idea.
Yep, she's okay.
While that's going on, you can relax in your car, read a newspaper, have a coffee, which they provide, coloring books with kids.
All the work's warranty approved, eh?
Yeah.
And they check your fluid levels.
My fluid level's going up right now drinking this coffee.
Hey, Roger, you colored the newspaper.
Oh, sorry, eh?
Yuskevich and Jamnov played together and teamed up to win a gold medal. Well, when you start playing against one another, it's a little different story, and Jamnov takes the brunt of a Yuskevich check that kept him on the ice for a few extra seconds. Yuskevich jumps into the fray with reckless abandon a lot of the times, whether it's one-on-one or a whole group. He doesn't mind taking the body a bit, as he showed with his pal Jamnov.
Jamnov banging his head on the boards, but appears to be okay. Mike Eagle sends it in for the Jets. 1-1 here in the second. Lawler from the left point. His shot deflected to the corner. Idomi on the ice with Eagles and King. Kennedy and Lawler on the Jets' defense. McGill from center. Nearly coughed it up. Would have if he hadn't decked Eagles. Baranek to Butsayev. Shoots it in wide of the Jets net. King hit by Conroy. Lawler. Lead pass for Mike Eagles. And it's Kartner for Philadelphia. Dumps it in for Baranek. He was grabbed by Lawler. Baranek back to McGill. His shot hit Tkachuk. Baranek again, quick shot. And the save by Essensa and a penalty to the Jets.
Coming up in our second intermission, or the next game for the Winnipeg Jets will be Sunday, April 11th at 3 o'clock. That's our next telecast here on CKND, the Jets and the Edmonton Oilers.
In fact, Joe, our season finale for the Jets on CKND. Dean Kennedy not very pleased with a cross-checking call at 9:20.
Not only the second penalty of the hockey game, the first of the second period. A bit of a rise out of the crowd, but when you look at this hockey game, we're almost at the halfway point, and it has been fairly even, not only from a scoring point of view, but from an infraction point of view.
Second power play for the Flyers, who weren't very effective on their first one in period one. Borsato and Steen up front with Numanen and Boughton on the Jets' defense. Gary Galley, who's logged a lot of ice time already for Philadelphia. Attempting to shoot it in, but it went off a stick and was caught by a fan.
Gary Galley was bothered by something called chronic fatigue syndrome that has become kind of popular recently. A number of National Hockey League athletes have been inflicted with it, as well as I'm sure people outside of the NHL. Galley, his muscles would cramp up, and he'd obviously be very, very tired and had to cut out a lot of practices in order to play games.
Hope it doesn't act up again tonight. The amount of ice time he's getting from Bill Dineen. Played very well on the Flyers' defense. Boughton to Steen. One-on-one against Greg Haga. Jets shorthanded. Steen, a nice move, trying to go to the net. Loose puck. Ricky is there for Philadelphia. Recchi crosses the Jets line. Puck went wide of the goal. Eagles in the corner. Galley. Checked by Newman. And he starts back for Winnipeg. Newman in behind the net. Good work here by number 27 of the Jets, David Shannon. To his backhand, failed to get a shot away, but the Jets kicking second off the clock. 33 left in the penalty. Shannon still working in the corner. Recchi for the Flyers. Lead pass for Lindros. Essence out to play it. Batted down by Lindros. Ulanoff. Down the boards for Shannon. That was intercepted by Recchi as the Flyers set up with the man advantage. Recchi at the point to Yaskevich. His shot blocked by Eagles. Dineen to the corner. Centered it right onto the stick of Ulanoff. He gives it to Eagles. And the penalty is over to Dean Kennedy.
The Winnipeg Jets doing a good job against the Flyer power play, making sure they put pressure on a team that is a little reluctant to move the puck confidently.
Ulanoff around for Tkachuk. Dineen to Baranek. Back for Dineen. And the puck's out at center. Yaskevich at his own line. Delaney has to wait for Tkachuk to get onside. Newman into the skates of Jamnov. Crosses the Flyer line. And the Jets offside on the play. 1-1 with 8:08 to go in the second.
Jamnov starting to show the kind of form that he had before his injury. This guy, as we mentioned in the opening, will be a real key for the Jets going down the stretch. And, you know, you don't start to recognize how tight the National Hockey League is until you have had some experience. I'm sure Jamnov and Paddock and the rest of the Winnipeg Jets are looking at different games earlier on in the season and thinking, geez, if we only would have done a little bit more here or a little bit more there, we in all likelihood would have had third place wrapped up. It just makes you realize that you got to remember those things and concentrate on the opportunities that you have to win games when you have them.
Think of that stretch they had in February. Back-to-back losses to the Sharks. Also a loss to the Whalers at home. The Jets playing well as the playoffs approach. Unbeaten in 5 coming into this one. Brind'Amour, a wrist shot, went for the far corner just off the net. Tkachuk is knocked down by Dineen. Nifty little play by Tkachuk. He was lying on the ice but still hooked it away from the Flyers. Dineen. Yaskevich. Eklund couldn't find it. Ulanoff finds it ahead for Tkachuk. Jamnov on the left side to Housley. Picked out by Roussel. Rebound. Jamnov after it. So is Tkachuk. And Brind'Amour controls it for Philadelphia. Good chance there for the Jets. Baranek and Ulanoff are swinging at each other.
Ulanoff had no concern for the puck at all. He went straight for the body. Baranek retaliated, and this was the result.
Only one transportation company has been singled out for special recognition of its quality service, Reimer Express. Nobody else serves all of Canada, and especially Western Canada, with more dependability. Nobody delivers better, faster, or at a more cost-effective price. And nobody dares challenge our exclusive guarantee, on time or free. Reimer Express, Canada Award winner for business excellence in quality.
Take a moment to compare the 93 Ford Taurus GL sedan and wagon to the imports. The Taurus comes well equipped with over 24 standard features including air, power windows, and available anti-lock brakes. You'll also discover not just one, but 2 airbags. The price? Thousands less than the imports. Wagon or sedan, just $19,995. No wonder Taurus is the best-selling car in North America.
Quality is job one. It's working.
Watch the right side of your screen, and Housley jump up. Nobody took him, and does he love to jump up the ice? A great shot, a super save by Roussel to stop what was almost a goal. And this is what led to the fighting penalties that this pair got. Baranek thought he was going to get hit, figured he might as well hit first. Ulyanov took exception to that, and the resulting fisticuffs ensued.
Well, John Paddock spent some time in the Flyers organization, leading Hershey, their American League team, to a Calder Cup. And now he's the head coach of the Winnipeg Jets.
Bill Dineen picked up after that and won a couple of Calder Cup victories in Hershey as well. Roussel obviously favoring his left leg, it looks like, and just making sure that everything's all right. It doesn't look like it will be.
It's like Roussel may be done for the night. Tommy Soderstrom, coming off a shutout against the Leafs, his 4th of the year, will take over.
Here's a look at Craig Hartsburg, the assistant coach for the Philadelphia Flyers. 9.5 years with the Minnesota North Stars. Now, I wonder if Roussel didn't hurt his leg as Thomas Steen crashed through the crease. We may get some verification or denial of that. Soderstrom is another player amongst these two teams that has got Olympic experience, played with the Swedish national team at the Olympics in 1992 in Albertville. Does this guy have quick feet? Not a bad draft pick at all. The 11th round in 1990 by the Philadelphia Flyers. Bruce, you just talked about his 4 shutouts. Some pretty impressive statistics for Soderstrom.
Roussel will go to the Flyers dressing room, located right across the hall from our CKND studio. I think Soderstrom also boasts the biggest cage in the league. Wouldn't you agree?
One of the few goalies to still wear a wire mask. The composite and fiberglass masks are really proving to be protective and still giving goaltenders the ability to see the ice and the puck the way they want to.
Soderstrom tested right off the bat, although a weak shot in on him. Mike Lawler for the Jets. Acton forechecking, Stu Barnes. Conroy trying to steal it behind the net. Galley was pinching and the puck came out. Yuskevich slaps it in right on Essenson. Rebound goes to Kennedy. 6:34 left, second period. Jets 1 and the Flyers 1. Mike Lawler. Lead pass to Davidoff, hit by Galley, picked up by Barnes as King trailing. Barnes shot, didn't get to the net. Off the leg of Yuskevich. Barnes in front. Galley for the Flyers. Hit by Davidoff. Barnes and Lindros get tied up in the corner. Galley for Lindros. King in front for Davidoff. Didn't get a stick on the puck. Ripped up by Yuskevich. Fans pleading for a penalty from Mark Mossett. Jets haven't had a power play yet tonight. Newman loses it to Lindros, right, and scores!
Well, there's not a lot of players in the National Hockey League that can complete a play like this. This takes a couple of elements. It takes great skill and also tremendous strength. Lindros has both as he muscles by Newman, and then he has to come back into the fracas. Newman is still on top of him, and Essens that came out, as you can see, to cut the angle off. But Lindros found a hole big enough for the puck to fit through. Look at the way he charges by, and now he comes back into the middle. And as Essens thinks he's going to continue to go wide, Lindros tucks it in the 5-hole, unassisted, obviously, by Eric Lindros.
Goal number 39 for Lindros at 14:21. And the Flyers are back in the lead 2-1. Barry Cartner waits. The Brent Fedek. Newman went down in the corner as Fedek attempted to hit Recchi. Housley for the Jets. Lead pass for Solani. Lindros trying to catch him. Got enough of him to knock him off stride. Steen behind the goal. For Jamnov to Solani. Backhand shot. Good save by Soderstrom. Jamnov behind the goal, cruising around. Into the slot. Checked by Fedek. Steen recovered and didn't get much on his backhand pass, and the Flyers bring it out. Recchi. Drop pass to Lindros. To Fedek. His shot. Essence of the save. And back comes Jamnov to Solani. As play opens up again. Nifty pass by Solani. Jamnov and a pass saved by Soderstrom. Now at times the game has been tight checking, and then for brief flurries it seems to open up. There's a lead pass for Frederick Olofsson. Soderstrom cleared it. Tkachuk from the corner. He went down. Harry Kartner for the Flyers. Around the boards to Fedek, and he backhands it to center. Waller at his own line. For Tkachuk, he was checked by Fedek. Olofsson tips it in for the Jets. 4:10 left, second period, 2-1 Flyers. August took Tkachuk out of the play. Orsato trying to kick it free from Brind'Amour. Orsato has it for the Jets to Boughton at the point. Behind the goal, August stayed with Tkachuk, and the Flyers get it out. Partner to center. Tkachuk kicked it back to Boughton. On the left side for Olofsson. Trying to catch up to it, but Galley gets there first. To Greg Hagen. He dumps it in. Hagen named the top defenseman in the American Hockey League with Cape Breton last season. Eklund to Butsayev in the corner. Checked by Stu Barnes. Hooks it ahead to Darren Shannon. Mike Lawler. The Barnes on the left side turns away from Dineen and rolls it behind the net. 3 minutes remaining second period. Flyers up by 1. Dean Kennedy flips it in. McGill tossed it behind the net to Shannon, who couldn't center it as Galley made a good defensive play.
Well, this game, Bruce, is going to be over in record time if it continues this pace. The average time in the NHL this year is 2 hours and 37 minutes. We'll have to pull the clock out and see where we stand.
Barnes the king. His shot was blocked. Kennedy. Bumped by Conroy. Davidoff behind the net. Acton and Barnes battle for it. Yuskevich to Conroy. Fourth time in the game, we've gone over 3 minutes without a whistle. King a slap shot, and that hit Yuskevich. King again. Into the corner for Davidoff. To King in the slot. In front for Eagles, and Partner out inside out. Davidoff along the boards. Wrestled to the ice by Lindros. Yuskevich without a stick, but Recchi cleared it.
Davidoff a little slow getting up. Lindros didn't hit him. I think he crushed him.
Partner took a run at Housley. Domi looking at Partner. Lindros knocks King down. And it's heating up late in the second period between the Jets and Flyers. You're watching the Jets live on CKND, your home station.
Get some tickets and watch this kid Solani play hockey. He is a piece of work.
Simon Solani has struck again. Good shot from Solani. He scored number 50.
This is absolutely incredible.
Solani goes after it. Timo Solani breaks it. He scored. He's unbelievable.
You're good. You're good. Everything he touches turns to gold. He's likable. He's skilled. Everybody loves him.
There's
a new spirit in Manitoba. The 93 GMC Sierra SL Extended Cab, the spirit of the West, with everything you want in a full-size truck. A 350 V8 engine, heavy-duty rad and shocks for pulling power, and rear anti-lock brakes for stopping power. Now you can drive one for just $20,499. This truck is as spirited as the people who drive it. See your Manitoba GMC dealer today.
Coming up in our second intermission, I'll be talking with the Flyers' Rod Brindamore. We'll have a CKND News update from Sandy Korchenko, and we'll have highlights of the game between the Boston Bruins and the Quebec Nordiques.
Well, a few penalties. Karkner and Domi each get a pair for roughing. Lindros gets a separate 2 minutes for running over Chris King. Lindros has got a very long memory. King got him with a bit of a bump at the blue line in the first period. And when the fracas occurred, Lindros went straight over to King to straighten things out. His only problem was that Hossett recognized what was taking place and threw him in the sin bin for his efforts. So Winnipeg will get the power play that a number of the fans have been calling for.
Jets on their first power play of the night, which has been pretty decent lately. They'll have Solani, Steen, Jamnoff, Olesen, and Housley. Just 1:13 left in the second. Flyers leading 2-1.
The Jets power play hovering right around 21%, 20.7. Ideally, you'd like to be up between 25 and 30, but if you can maintain that 20-21 over the entire season and get hot for the playoffs, that will solve all concerns about power play proficiency.
Here's Frederick Olesen for Phil Housley. Overskated the puck near the line. Now goes rink wide for Jamnoff. And Galley shoots it into the Jet zone. Less than a minute to go in the second. Olesen to Steen. Back to Alexei Jamnoff. Stick handles into the Flyers zone. Back for Housley. Fedek overskates it, but the Flyers would have had a 2-on-1 shorthanded. Housley trying to slop it in off the stick of Galley, who's played a very strong game for the Flyers so far, and they shoot it down. 23 seconds left in the period. Olesen to Housley. Swings away from Brindamore. To Jamnoff. Checked by Galley inside the Flyer line. Around the boards. Steen unable to trap it, and it's slipped out by Brindamore. In a couple of moments, we'll be talking with our Joe Pascucci. Steen, a backhand pass. And the second period is over.
A solid period by the Flyers and a great individual effort by Lindros has given them the advantage. But the Jets have gambled a couple of times and won on it. They have to be careful that they don't gamble and lose. Get back to the basics and play the same hard-nosed hockey that they did in the 3 games previous. And they've got a good shot at winning this game in the third.
The score after 2 periods of play, the Flyers 2 and the Jets 1.
Imagine if all the things in life were as tasty as the things in Twix. Creamy peanut butter, milk chocolate, together with a cookie crunch that goes snap. Twix, one of life's great tastes.
So we've hung for about a semester, and she's amazing. I mean, she slurps Coke, speaks a gazillion languages, is intellectual, and that's why we get along. Because I love her lips.
I have a dog. He's a great dog, but he digs. Night and day and night and day, dig, 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 dig. My brother's dog, he's in commercials, makes a fortune. My neighbor's dog, 5 months old, comes on the first whistle. My dog, you whistle, he digs, but who cares?
The Perkins Reuben Melt. The other guy's Reuben sandwich. Our country club melt. Their country club sandwich. Our Frisco melt. Their Frisco melt. Our chicken melts. Their chicken melts. If you want a delicious melt, you can either come to Perkins and enjoy one of ours, or go somewhere else and enjoy one of theirs.
Feel it.
Buick, the symbol of quality in North America. Park Pontiac's ordered in a limited number of specially priced 93 Regal sedans, complete with V6 air conditioning, power door locks, and AM/FM cassette stereo. All this value and a lot more for only $18,793, freight included. J.D. Power's #1 rated vehicle in initial quality and value in its class.
You got it, Park Pontiac. Buicks, too.
It's hard to find a family untouched by Canadian Tire, by a first fishing rod, or decorating that tiny apartment. Why? Because Canadian Tire has always made it possible for families to get exactly what they need. Top quality and guaranteed low prices. There must be something to it, because we've been part of the family for a long, long time. There's a lot more to Canadian Tire for a lot less.
If you're looking for the refreshing taste of Miller Genuine Draft in a light beer, Molson introduces Miller Genuine Draft Light. It puts cold in a whole new light.
Phil Housley tied it, but Eric Lindros has put the Philadelphia Flyers ahead of the Winnipeg Jets after 40 minutes. 2-1 the score in favor of the Philadelphia Flyers. And joining me now, number 17 of Philadelphia, Rod Brindamore, enjoying a career year, 36 goals, 44 assists, both are highs. And Rod, we talked this morning about what was the problem with the Flyers. You said it was the intensity level, whether the A, B, or C team showed up tonight. I think the A team showed up.
Well, it has been a problem all year. I think the consistency level hasn't been there, and that's why some nights we seem to get beat, and then other nights we play the best teams and beat them. That's a big thing we have to learn on this team, is to play consistent every night, because anyone can beat anybody any given night.
Those are basically the problems of a young team that is rebuilding.
I think so. I mean, like I was telling you earlier, we've learned to lose, and that's not the thing you want to do. Now it's time to, figure out how to win and win on the road, and that's something we haven't done now all year.
Pretty strange game tonight. Didn't seem all that intense, but in the last few minutes, it certainly heated up.
Well, I think, the body started to fly around a little bit more near the end of the period. It's getting physical out there, and that's what we like to play, so hopefully it'll blend for a good period.
Tell us what you do in the off-season.
Well, I go down to Michigan State most of the off-season, try to take a couple classes and keep busy, work on it toward a degree, but I'm a long ways away, but it keeps me busy.
Or you said you changed your degree.
Yeah, I was a marketing major, but I've tried to change to education. I like the idea of having my summers off, so hopefully somewhere down the road I can use it.
All right, I know you haven't been asked, but if so, would you go to the World Hockey Championships and represent Canada again like you did last year?
Well, you don't want to think too far ahead. We still have this year to finish off, but I had a great experience with it last year, and if the opportunity came up again, I'd definitely jump at it.
All right, Rod Brindamore, thank you very much. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Coming up next on CKND, we'll have a news update from our studios with Sandy Krichenko. Winnipeg Jets trailing the Philadelphia Flyers 2-1 after 40 minutes.
Pick a place where the music's hot, the company's cool, and the fun never stops. So when you're...
It keeps going and going. Energizer. Absolutely nothing lasts longer.
Simplot Plant Foods, helping Western farmers nourish the crops that help feed the world. Simplot, bringing earth resources to life.
I really like the taste of these Kellogg's Bran Flakes.
Whole grain.
Whole grain?
Yeah, whole grain.
Whole grain? What's whole grain?
It's Kellogg's Bran Flakes. They take the whole grain of wheat.
Yeah.
And then they grind it up.
Yeah.
And then they flatten it out into flakes.
And that's how they taste?
Exactly.
Whole grain.
With the goodness of wheat bran and an honest whole grain taste.
I really like the taste of these Kellogg's Bran Flakes.
Whole grain.
Whole grain.
Yeah, whole grain. See, Kellogg's Bran Flakes takes the whole grain. Then they flatten it out.
I like to think I'm a pretty smart businessman. But running the business all day and doing the accounting at night wasn't working out for me or the company. Now I let a certified general accountant look after all my financial matters. He's got the accounting expertise and the computer training I really needed. And that gives me time for the really important business in life.
Certified General Accountants, wherever sound financial decisions are made.
Attention, Winnipeg. Searching for a great deal on a new car? Your search will soon be over. Sergeant Hyundai is coming. Watch for it.
Good evening. The provincial government is not raising personal income taxes this year, but will extend or increase taxes in other areas. Finance Minister Clayton Manis brought down his latest budget this afternoon. He said while the sales tax won't be increased, it will apply to more items like school supplies, all children's clothing over $100, and all restaurant meals. The gasoline tax, which is often targeted for budget increases, will again be hiked. As of midnight tonight, the price per liter at the pumps will rise by 1 cent. Tax credits for pensioners, homeowners, renters, welfare recipients, and those on workers' compensation will be reduced. We'll have a complete report on the budget as well as reaction from the city of Winnipeg. That's later this evening on News at 10:30. In other news, Winnipeg's Child and Family Services Agency fears it will not be able to provide all the services it gives to 2,500 children under its care. Over the last year and a half, there has been a 13% increase in the number of children the agency handles. However, it is facing a 4% cut in government spending. The Hotel Fort Garry is facing foreclosure proceedings after a $7.3 million mortgage default. The hotel's owner is facing financial problems in Quebec. Notice of foreclosure was filed late last month. The Manitoba Lotteries Foundation says the Crystal Casino in the Hotel Fort Garry will not be affected. Join us for more news at 10:30 on CKND, your home station.
So I decided to try a different candy bar, Wonder Bar. What'd you expect? It'll taste like all the rest? Not. Things are looking up. Check out my marks. Straight A's as usual. Not. Then I spot this vision. She's got a Wonder Bar too, so we can talk, right? Not. Wonder Bar. Tastes great, even if it doesn't render me fatally attractive.
Wonder Bar. Expected to taste like the rest.
Not.
Sorry, guys. Got held up at the office with a long-distance call.
Where now?
New clients. Hong Kong.
Ooh, Mr. Global.
Hey, you got to look further than your own backyard.
Introducing Improved Advantage.
Those calls must add up. Who's got Advantage? Advantage? It's a savings plan. You know he's always talking.
Now one plan saves you up to 30% on long-distance calling. Canada, the U.S., even overseas.
You didn't say anything about a plane.
You got to look further than your own backyard.
Long-distance business sense from MTS.
Red Hot Family Shot brought to you by the Red Hot family of Dirt Devil Vacuums by Royal. Tonight, the Hextall.
What's Red Hot really powerful and can perk up anything? Guess again. It's the Dirt Devil Upright Deluxe. Its revolving brush cleans the dirtiest floor, and you won't have to hunt for attachments. They're built in. So get the Dirt Devil Upright Deluxe and perk up your place. Once cherry red, loaded with extras, and purrs when you floor it. Guess again. It's the Dirt Devil Power Pack, a powerful compact vacuum with a revolving brush and handy tools for all your cleaning needs. So get the Dirt Devil Power Pack and get rolling.
The Hextalls are a 3...
Superior quality, deluxe features, excellent value, all backed by an industry-leading no-fault warranty. See your retailer today.
Philadelphia Flyers leading the Winnipeg Jets 2-1 after 2 periods of play. And we bill this one as the clash of the young Titans, Teemu Selanne and Eric Lindros. Eric Lindros with a goal tonight, Teemu Selanne with 1 assist. 6 other games going on in the NHL tonight. Let's look at the Canadian Tire out-of-town scoreboard. Coming up a little later this evening, the Calgary Flames taking on the Los Angeles Kings. The Flames 3 points back of first place Vancouver. The Kings 2 points up on the 4th place Jets. Also starting a little later this evening, the Edmonton Oilers taking on the San Jose Sharks. Elsewhere in the NHL, St. Louis and Tampa Bay tied at 2 in the 3rd period. The Blues trying to stay ahead of the Minnesota North Stars in the Norris Division. They're 2 points up on the Stars for the 4th and final playoff spot. And Minnesota tied with Buffalo at 1 in the 3rd period. Brian Propp with the goal for the North Stars, his 2nd since coming back from Europe. The Boston Bruins well in hand over the Quebec Nordiques, leading that one 7-1, and the Islanders leading Washington 3-2. And Gene Ennis highlights.
The Adams Division battle for first turned into a whitewash. Cam Neely opened the scoring for the Bruins, his first of the evening, 1-0. Nordiques tied right off the face-off. Scott Young is 29th of the season. We are knotted at 1. Bruins regain the lead. David Shaw gets his pass right back, beats Ron Hextall. It's 2-1 after 1. 3-1 in the 2nd period, 2-on-1. David Poulin over to Ted Donato. Bruins lead this one 4-1. Bruins keep coming, and Cam Neely, the slap shot, 2nd of the night. Bruins lead it 6-1 after 2, and they're up 7-1 in the 3rd. As for the Islanders and the Capitals, Dale Hunter on the power play banks it in off a Uwe Krupp skate. 1-0 for the Capitals. Washington returns the favor. Pierre Turgeon's pass redirected by Kevin Hatcher, past Don Beaupre. We are knotted at 1. Capitals regain the lead. Calle Johansson from the point eludes Glenn Healy. 2-1 for Washington, but the Islanders forecheck their way back into the game. Steve Thomas to Pierre Turgeon. We are tied at 2. And then after the point shot is stopped by Beaupre, Ray Ferraro puts it home. Islanders lead 3-2 in the 3rd.
And 3-2 for the Islanders over the Caps in the 3rd. The Capitals yet to defeat a Patrick Division opponent at home since Christmas. Big game for the Islanders in that one. Our score here, the Philadelphia Flyers leading the Winnipeg Jets 2-1. 3rd period action coming your way on Molson Jets Hockey on CKND.
I have a blind date tonight, and you know what they say about first impressions. Do I reveal my nutritious, ready-for-commitment side with 100% whole wheat, or do I let loose the fun-loving Mr. Mini-Wheat with my great-tasting light frosting? I really want her to like me.
Then show her both sides, Mr. Mini-Wheat.
You think so?
Yes, show her everything a Mini-Wheat from Kellogg's has got, and she'll be back for more.
She'll never leave my side.
Well, now, Mr. Mini-Wheat.
She'll be my true love forever. Oh.
Let's not get carried away.
So she turns to me and says, I want a new TV. And I say, great. Let's make it a great big one. And I know where we can get the best deal. And she just smiles and says, you want to bet? So I check out that discount store that advertises the lowest prices, and she checks out Advance. Come on. Advance, great service, sure, great selection, yeah, but the lowest prices? Yep, that too. Can't beat that.
The 2nd period summary is brought to you by your local bottler of Coca-Cola Classic. Always the real thing. Always Coca-Cola. Jets tied it on a breakaway goal by Housley, his 18th from Steen and Selanne at 6:17. And then big Eric Lindros put the Flyers back on top. An unassisted goal is 39th at 14:21. Jets out shooting the Flyers 10-9 in the 2nd.
Jamnov should have an assist on this one after a great individual effort to thwart the scoring opportunity. Right here, he makes the dive on Yuskevich. And Steen and Selanne one-touch it up to Housley, who is just coming back from an earlier rush. A perfectly placed shot gives Housley a goal and a tie game. But Lindros doesn't waste a lot of time in charging by Newman, and he goes right back into the fray to slide it between the legs of Essenza. Well, this is a while ago. Brian Propp, who recently came back from Europe to jump in at the North Stars again, scored a hat trick and a couple of helpers to give them their 3rd division title in 4 years.
And Prop has scored tonight for the Minnesota North Stars. Alexei Zhamnov hasn't scored, but he's had some chances, and the Jets will start the third with the man advantage. 47 seconds left in the Flyers penalty. Colby Kartner and Lindros sent off late in the second.
John Paddock switching lines up once again, although this is a power play. This trio of Solani, Zhamnov, and Tkachuk has been together since the middle of the second period. Other wingers that Zhamnov and Solani have played with include Ty Domi, Shannon, and Thomas Steen.
Third underway, Jets with the man advantage. Housley to Olsen. He slaps it in. Puck came around the boards. Tkachuk off a shin pad, went behind the net. Solani trying to get it. His pass was picked off by Keith Acton, who gives it to Pelle Eklund. Eklund coming back after missing 3 games with a thigh injury. He and Thomas Steen, both former athletes of the year in their native country, Sweden. Zhamnov to center. His pass intercepted by Orecki, who was checked at the last moment by Housley. Flyers a return to 5 skaters. Tkachuk, a nice move right in, shoots off the goalpost. Great effort by Keith Tkachuk, but he hit the post. Lindros shoots it in. Saw Tkachuk coming. Teemu Solani for the Jets has Numminen trailing. Stops at the line. Numminen into the corner, centers it. Comes to Steen at the point. Gets around Fedek. Steen for Solani, and a good defensive play by Greg Hagen.
Well, I wonder if Steen would like to have that pass again and shoot instead. He was in fairly close. If it had gone through, it was wide open for Solani. The pass was intercepted, as you mentioned, Bruce, by Hagen.
Sedin and Steen get tangled up. They're having words. Hagen at his own line. Flips it into Jets territory. Essence out to play. It goes the other way with the Sedin coming. Borsato whacks it ahead for Thomas Steen. Puck off the way from Sean Cronin, and Steen will give chase. Cronin gets help from Yuskevich. Cronin to Deneen. To Eklund. Forced back by Borsato and Mike Lawler. Goes rink wide for Brind'Amour. Lawler takes over for the Jets. Just past the 2-minute mark in the third. 2-1 Flyers. Steen to Shannon. He ran into Yuskevich. Kennedy at center. To Davidoff. Kennedy across to Lawler. Back to Kennedy in front of his net. Flyers send 2 forecheckers in, and Chris King has it for the Jets. Drop pass to Davidoff. Play broken up by Yuskevich. Barnes hustles to it along the boards. Couldn't center it, and out comes Yuskevich for the Flyers with Baranek. Yuskevich shot. Good one. Rebound. Good save by Essence on Yuskevich again, and he covers up in the crease.
Well, Yuskevich has played a strong game. Keith Tkachuk just had a great opportunity for the Winnipeg Jets. Some real nifty moves by the big guy. Watch how he slides it and then gets his body through after the puck is through. Right off the post as Soderstrom went down. Yuskevich ended up reciprocating the pretty good wrist shot. Yuskevich has been jumping into the fracas and dishing out some body checks, and as you saw, got his own rebound there in the middle of a pile up in front of Essenza.
So look at Yuskevich. The referee and linesman can almost put their whistles away tonight. We went another 2 minutes and 54 seconds without a stoppage. Puck in behind the Jets net, and out comes Numminen. Pass it center to Mike Eagles. He was stopped by the defense pairing of McGill and Gary Galley. Numminen for Davidoff. Recchi steals it for the Flyers. Skates to center and dumps it in for Lindros. He was held up by Numminen, boating around for Barnes. To Davidoff. To Mike Eagles. Recchi back defensively for the Flyers. Eagles waste to Numminen, shoots. Soderstrom the save. Soderstrom replacing the injured Dominic Roussel. Long shot in from Davidoff, and Soderstrom handles that.
Numminen jumping up the ice, looking to make up for the puck that Lindros stripped off him, and he almost did right here, but Soderstrom maintains his position pretty well, and he's got very, very quick reaction time. He moves his legs as well as any goaltender in the league, and if his angles are played properly, with the way he can kick his feet around, you're not going to get a whole pile of shots by him. He suffers from something called Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome, and what it is an irregular heartbeat. He's had half a dozen or so operations to correct it, but he still has not got the problem totally solved, and that causes some concern for the Flyers and Soderstrom in particular.
Teppo Numminen had a goal and an assist against the Flyers in their first meeting this year. Ulanov's shot was kicked away by Soderstrom. Rod Brind'Amour. Jamnov intercepts at center and dumps it back in. Nearly 4 minutes gone in period 3. Flyers 2 and the Jets 1. Deneen pokes it to the Winnipeg line. Ulanov. For Tkachuk, Yuskevich broke that play up. This time it works. Solani one-on-one against Hoggett. Solani shoots and Soderstrom made the stick save. On the shifty Solani. Tkachuk collides with Hoggett. Was a low center of gravity. Tkachuk was pulled down and play continues. And Brind'Amour is hooked by Jamnov. Solani to Tkachuk. Flyers defense standing up. Gary Galley, he'll turn 30 in 10 days. He's had a big game on defense for Philadelphia. Brind'Amour to Eklund to Deneen. Back to Eklund. Hits the late man, Gary Galley. Couldn't center it. Deneen feeds McGill at the point. He steps up. His shot is blocked by Ulanov. Breakaway pass for Solani. He's in alone on Soderstrom. Solani scores!
Solani just ties McGillney for the lead in goals, not only for rookies, but in the entire National Hockey League. And I'm sure he has faced Soderstrom before, but as a member of a different team, against a different team. The Finns against the Swedes, and that is a rivalry in itself. A great move, a couple of shifts to paralyze Soderstrom, and then he slips it out as far to the left as he can. And he didn't have to go any further to tie this hockey game.
Goal number 74 for Teemu Solani, and yet another standing ovation. And how many of those have we seen this year from this Winnipeg Arena crowd? A 2-2 tie. Both Lindros and Solani have scored tonight. There's a lead pass for Butsayev. Kennedy has it for Winnipeg. Olsen to Thomas Steen. Has Shannon with him. Steen stops to Lawler. Weak backhand wide. Shannon couldn't pick it up behind the net. 2 breakaway goals for the Jets in this one. Steen to Lawler. Olsen has it. Ulanov assisting on the Solani goal at 4:52. Sean Cronin to Conroy. Now to Baranek. Has Butsayev trailing. Numminen stays with Baranek. Butsayev and Boughton battle for it in the corner. And the puck comes out to center to Hager. He wraps it back in for the Flyers. Mark Recchi trying to go to the net, took the shot, essence of the save, rebound was poked wide by Kartner. Recchi, the side of the net for Fedek, he was alone, but the pass failed to click. Recchi again to Lindros in the corner, centers it for Fedek. Tied up by Eagles, and he gets it to Borsato. Flyers coming close, Borsato faked the shot against Kartner, who then cut him off. Lindros for Philadelphia, 2-2 tie in the third. Ulanov kicks it to Borsato, and Tkachuk thought he had Lindros lined up. The fans oohing and awing about that one. Here's Recchi with Fedek. Recchi shoots. Good save by Essensa. Ulanov to center. He dumps it into the Philadelphia zone. Soderstrom to Kartner. Nearing the 7-minute mark, third period, in a 2-2 tie. Recchi hits Eklund. Into the Jet zone, dropped it to Hodgson. The wrist shot deflected wide. And Housley gulps it over the glass and into the seats. From Winnipeg Arena, your Molson Block Reserve telecast.
Hey, they're having fun here today with Sports Select. All right, who's up front? I said who?
You said how?
Hey, Gordy Howe, what do you think of Sports Select?
It's like playing again.
Hey, it's fun counting up those wins.
Didn't count too many when you're a coach.
You still might have a job.
Who's in charge here?
Oh. Blue knows a winner.
Blue, hit the showers.
You better have a talk with that pup.
Get in the winner's circle. Make your Sports Select wager.
Okay.
Clarence Kapner of Winnipeg, the next winner in the Safeway Score and Win contest by attaching a label from Quaker Chewy granola bars to a Score and Win ballot. Clarence has won Sultan's Good Taste collection of fine kitchen appliances on Solani's 74th of the season. Right in front, Deneen, robbed by Essensa. Right off the face-off. Deneen for Brindamore. Dean behind the goal to Phil Housley, to Solani, to Ulanov. He skates straight up the ice, leads the Winnipeg charge, and Solani offside on the left wing called by Speak. Solani arguing
for the Philadelphia Flyers, generating a great scoring opportunity right off the face-off. Deneen is a tricky, strong player. Look at the way he kicks it up with his left foot to his stick, and then gets a good shot. Essensa had to be very, very sharp. Deneen has been fairly consistent from a playing point of view, but from a goal scoring and scoring point of view, he hasn't done a lot in the first half of the season, but he's really picked up his numbers recently and is back into the same sort of form that made him a stalwart in the National Hockey League with the Hartford Whalers.
13,510 in attendance to watch Lindros and the Flyers against Solani and the Jets tonight. Yaskevich for Philly. Shoots it into the Jet zone. And the Flyers called for icing. They'll bring it back for a face-off to the right of Tommy Soderstrom. Some finals are in from out of town. Here's Joe to tell us about it.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Three final scores to tell you about. Let's start with the game in Tampa Bay. St. Louis Blues and the Lightning tying at 2, so that tie puts the Blues 3 points up on Minnesota North Stars, who are playing Buffalo. Boston defeating Quebec by a final of 7-1. The Bruins now first in the Adams division, and the Islanders have defeated Washington 3-2, so the Islanders now tied with Jersey for third in the Patrick.
Here's one for Don Cherry, your pal Bruce. Solani has got 74 goals. All of the Canadians combined for the Winnipeg Jets have 72. What will Grape say about that?
I don't know, but we'll probably find out in the next week or so. May find out Saturday night. Housley at the left point. His shot goes wide. Once again, the Flyers send the puck down the ice, but icing waved off. Ulanov looks around, slides it to Keith Tkachuk, who hit the post earlier in this period. This time Galley stayed with him, and it's Pelle Eklund winding up for the Flyers. Drop pass to Brindamore. He looks, his slap shot goes wide on the short side. Galley left point. Shot right into Esselson, trying to cover it up. Deneen picked it free, but couldn't get the puck to his stick. Jamnoff really lost it in front. And Housley clears it to Solani. Galley was keeping an eye on him. Solani tried to go rink wide. Here's Deneen coming in. Drops it to Eklund, and he's checked by Jamnoff. Yaskevich winding up, and a great glove save by Essensa. Bob Essensa keeps the score, knotted at 2.
get off that couch.
It's the 19th Annual Speed Sport World of Wheels, presented by Advanced Electronics, with an all-new lineup of the wildest sculpted sheet metal you've ever seen. We've even got the actual Batmobile from the mega-hit movie Batman Returns. Meet Tool Time Al from TV's Home Improvement, and Dr. Scott Granger from The Young and the Restless. Plus, see the hottest show vehicles in North America. There's something for everyone, so what are you waiting for? It's the 19th Annual Speed Sport World of Wheels, presented by Advanced Electronics, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, April 9, 10, and 11 at the Winnipeg Convention Center.
Hope we get rescued soon. This is our last pack.
The original great taste of Juicy Fruit is now available in new sugar-free.
Jack, check this out. Hey, it's Juicy Fruit. Hey, it's sugar-free Juicy Fruit, Jack. All right, we're going in. Plain.
The one and only great taste, Juicy Fruit, now available in new sugar-free. Taste that sticks out.
Well, for all the pool watchers, these statistics are up to the minute. Lemieux has regained his lead and will in all likelihood continue his dominance in the scoring.
What a terrific story that is. And Solani fifth in the scoring race with a couple of points tonight. Newman leads the attack. To Borsato, checked by Cartner, centered for Shannon. Went off the skate of McGill. Bowden keeps it in. Pass went behind Eagles. Shannon behind the net for Winnipeg in a 2-2 tie. Couldn't center at the Eagles. Lindros banks it off the boards and out as Eagles stepped into him, and I don't think Lindros even felt it. Borsato, rink wide to Eagles. Has Shannon with him. Eagles to the corner, centers it off the stick of Soderstrom. Bowden shot, and Soderstrom stayed with him to make the save. Brent Fedek. Lindros heads to the net. Takes it off the corner board, centers it. Here's Recchi. Newman to Darren Shannon. He dumps it the length of the ice. Sean Cronin back for it, and this time the Jets call for icing as we near the midway mark of the third.
Well, we talked about Mark Recchi in the opening. How about these for statistics? Pretty darn impressive over the last 36 months. Recchi has led the National Hockey League in assists, and some players that perhaps you might not think would be up there. Brett Hull is one that kind of surprises me. A great goal scorer, but also not a bad playmaker. A lot of those plays for a guy like Hull or Recchi come off of rebounds. It never hurts to shoot the puck, and when you do that, goals and scoring chances result.
Recchi, the fifth player in Flyers history to hit 50 goals, the fourth player to hit 100 points, and he's only two shy of Bobby Clark's record of 119 points in a season. He's not been on the score sheet tonight so far. Jets shoot it in deep. Yuskevich behind the net for Philadelphia, watched by Stu Barnes. 10 minutes gone in the third period, a 2-2 tie. Kutsayev. Dumped by Chris King. Essensa well out of his net to play it. Barnes to Davidoff. Slap shot. Soderstrom, a blocker save. Looked very cool making that stop. Davidoff runs over Conroy in the corner, and the fans love that one. Yuskevich to the Jets line. Lawler has it for Winnipeg. Pass through center. Bouncing puck. Here's Davidoff in again. The shot off the stick of Galley. Yuskevich coming over to say something to Davidoff as the play was called on the offside, but the fans making a fair amount of noise. Perhaps didn't hear the whistle.
Well, the hockey game has just gone over the 2-hour mark. A nice cross-ice pass by Stu Barnes, and this is a way to generate some offense. The Flyers have done a nice job of tying up the middle, and when that happens, you have to use a little bit more of the ice. Davidoff flattening Conroy, and then shortly thereafter hammered a puck just as the whistle blew. Conroy and Yuskevich took exception to that. Well, Bill Dineen has had some great success coaching. 4 times he finished in first place in the WHA, won 2 Avco Cups as well, won 2 Calder Cups coaching Adirondack in the American League, and took a team in the Philadelphia Flyers that were well under .500 when he took over. And in the remaining games that he was in control last year, finished up a couple of games over 500.
And he's watched his Flyers play a pretty good game here in Winnipeg tonight. Brindamore gets away from Domi. Centers it, loose puck in the slot, picked up by Domi. Galley and Yuskevich back on defense again. Solani going for the net. And Domi couldn't get the pass by Yuskevich, then knocks him down behind the net. Cooling off to Housley. Eklund after him. Housley around the boards for Domi. Left it for Ulanoff in the corner. Out for Solani. The Jets assess an icing call again.
Rod Brindamore was a great acquisition for the Philadelphia Flyers. He was the Blues' #1 pick in 1988. He got picked up with Dan Quinn, and the Flyers gave up Ronnie Sutter and Murray Barron to the St. Louis Blues. Boy, has he ever come into his own with the Flyers. He really looks after himself physically, and in the summertime you can find him spending the majority of his off-ice hours in a weight room and beefing up on his conditioning.
22-year-old Brindamore scored 3 goals and 3 assists, 6-point night against Los Angeles, December 29th, in a big 10-3 victory by the Flyers. Brent Fedek, pass at center for Rucky. Here's Lindros. Couldn't center it. Boughton lost the puck to Rucky, looking for Lindros through the crease. And 88 couldn't get a stick on it. Steen swings it out for Winnipeg. And they'll bring it back for a face-off in the Jet zone. Teemu Selanne has tied it in the third for the Jets.
It's hard to find a family untouched by Canadian Tire, by a first fishing rod, or decorating that tiny apartment. Why? Because Canadian Tire has always made it possible for families to get exactly what they need. Top quality and guaranteed low prices. There must be something to it, because we've been part of the family for a long, long time. There's a lot more to Canadian Tire for a lot less.
Get some tickets and watch this kid Selanne play hockey. He is a piece of work.
Teemu Selanne has struck again. Good see from Selanne. He scored number 50.
This is absolutely incredible.
Selanne goes after it. Teemu Selanne breaks it. He scored. He's unbelievable.
You're good. You're good. Everything he touches turns to gold. He's likable. He's skilled. Everybody loves him. 13,400 at the Met Center. They saw the North Stars defeat the Buffalo Sabres 3-1, so the North Stars now 1 point back of the Blues for 4th place in the North, both teams with 4 games left.
Boy, Jim, I saw the North Stars come through Alberta. They looked terribly flat, but shut out the Kings and win again tonight, and they're back in the playoff hunt in the Norris division. And Alexander McGillney did not score, so Teemu Selanne tied for the NHL scoring lead. Waller behind the net, nearly lost the puck to Butsayev. Conroy forechecking for Philadelphia. 7:40 left, third period. Jets 2 and the Flyers 2. Barry Kartner couldn't backhand it out. Knocked down by Steve. Selanne shoots. Soderstrom a pad save. And he holds on at the edge of his crease.
Well, I always find it interesting to watch how when the game gets on the line, a lot of the good players start to get good scoring opportunities. Selanne has one. Lindros just had one at the other end. And look how he positions himself after Steen takes his man out to give Selanne a little bit of room. Tkachuk is another one of the guys that comes to play when the game is on the line. And at this time of the year, and in the next 3 weeks, and hopefully longer than that for the Winnipeg Jets, Tkachuk called upon to rise to the occasion at key times of the game.
Tkachuk after Galley threw him into the boards. Steen roughed up by Yuskevich. Brindamore. A Across to Eklund. Back for Brindamore, and that went right on Soderstrom. Yuskevich. Eklund at center. Ulanov back on defense. Eklund stops in front. They score! As it went in off the stick of Phil Housley. Waved off by Mark Brissett. I think they're calling Kevin Dineen for being in the crease. And Phil Housley will say thank you very much.
Boy, oh boy. Dineen drove to the net and ended up going down, I thought, because Housley was playing him very tight. Right here on the right side of your screen, you see Housley had him all the way in. Now Dineen is in the crease. I guess it's his responsibility to put the binders on. That is a close call by Brissett. You can see him in the other side of your screen. He doesn't have his arm up or anything at that time. Boy, that's a pretty good job by Dineen going to the net. Not much of an argument from the Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh, Bill's son, Kevin, going to the net and getting a little too close to Bob Essensa, so it's still 2-2. McGill drives it in from center. Housley for Winnipeg. Ulanov to Darren Shannon. David off, back to Shannon. Going wide on McGill. Turns away from in the corner. Zhamnov in the slot. Shoots off the side of the net. Wanted to one-time it. Got a second opportunity and hit the side of the goal. Lindros trying to come back for Philadelphia. Recchi has it. To Lindros. Quick shot. Essence of the save. Ulanov for the Jets. Crosses the line. Play broken up. Lindros to Recchi. One-on-one against Housley. Lindros on the left side. Recchi holds up. Hits the late man Kartner. To the backhand. A shot. Essenson. A nice save. And it's cleared by Darren Shannon. 6 minutes left, third period. Still 2-2. Terry Kartner's had a couple of good chances here in the third. Recchi to Lindros. He waits. To Recchi in the slot. Back in front for Galley for Lindros. And the pass was behind him. Eagles chips it out. Yuskevich plays it back in for Philadelphia. Ulanov to Chris King. Backhands it into the Flyer zone. Soderstrom sets it up for Yuskevich. Eagles right on top of him. King from the corner. Behind the net, the Eagles try to come in front. Shot by Borsato, and Soderstrom stood up and made the stop. Borsato in the corner. Yuskevich trying to take him out. Borsato hustles to it in the corner. At the point to Newman on the slap shot. Loose puck in front. Borsato couldn't get a shot away. Jets trying to get the go-ahead goal. Borsato has it again. Great work by him. Centers it for King. He was dumped. And the Flyers finally gain control. Galley to center. Dumps it into the Jet zone with 4:40 to go.
Chris King right in front of the net. I think embellished that one a little bit. Galley did a good job in staying on top of him. King went down and the crowd sure reacted, but Brissett held his ground.
Zhamnov couldn't split the defense. Kartner to the point. Solani brought it out for the Jets. Back to Ulanov. Zhamnov to Solani. Cutting in here, Solani. Poke check by Soderstrom. Boy, that got the crowd buzzing. And Kartner flips it, and a stoppage in play.
Well, Bruce, you mentioned in the first period how the game had some quiet moments, and all of a sudden it would take off and be quite exciting. And that has happened on more than one occasion. This is an example of the game becoming exciting very, very quickly. Watch Essensa here, and in particular, Lindros on the other side of the crease. A solid move by Kartner, but if Essensa doesn't get his arm out, Lindros has 24 square feet to put the puck in. And Solani with some great speed again. Watch how Soderstrom jumps up and covers the entire ice. The only way to stop this guy is to force him to make moves very, very quickly and hope that his ability to execute is reduced a little bit because you put pressure on him. Ordinarily, he slides those in. He's had a couple of those chances tonight.
We're down to 4 minutes in the third. Housley across to Ulanoff. In front, Steen had some room, but didn't get enough on the shot. Steen centers it again off the stick of Soderstrom, and out come the Flyers. Brind'Amour with Dineen 2-on-2. Dineen to Eklund. In the corner, Brind'Amour for Dineen. The shot, a quick one off the target. Ulanoff for the Jets. Pass at center for Steen. Eklund played it back to Kartner in his own zone. Olesen broke his stick, goes to the bench, and Borsato hops on for Winnipeg. Puck in the corner, Recchi out of the corner with centers it, Fedek scores!
The Yorkton, Saskatchewan native gives the Philadelphia Flyers the go-ahead goal. Fedek, who has got a huge number of friends and relatives at the arena tonight, parks himself in front of the net. And as Ulanoff spins to determine whether anybody's coming out of the corner or not, he leaves Fedek for that split second. And Essens, as a result, has absolutely no chance on a perfect pass and equivalent execution by Fedek.
21st goal of the year for Brent Fedek.
Philadelphia's third goal.
And the Flyers lead for the third time in the hockey game.
The assist number 8, Mark Recchi, and number 88, Eric Lindros.
Recchi and Lindros assisting.
The Flyers Fedek from Recchi and Lindros at 16:46.
Lindros dumps it out for the Flyers. We're down to 2:50 in the third period. Darren Shannon to Solani. He tips it in on Soderstrom. Gary Galley for Philadelphia. Just lightly off the boards to the Jets line. Here's Galley again. Long shot. Blocker saved by Essenson. The puck goes out of play. You're watching the Jets live on CKND, your home station.
Play Score and Win at Safeway. When the Jets score on CKND, you could win a 20-inch Emerson Combination TV VCR, Bacassa's Orchard Odyssey Dinnerware, the best of T-Fal, or a set of Dirt Devil vacuums from Royal Appliance. At the end of each game, we'll award a Canadian Holidays vacation for two to Walt Disney World Resort. Safeway's participating products, Kraft Dinner, and Sunripe Blue Label Apple Juice. Score and Win, another reason we're today's better way.
Beaver Lumber presents surprising paint facts. Fact: now there's an exterior paint that protects so well it's guaranteed for 15 full years. Behr Premium Plus, the paint made with pure, clean titanium. Fact: now there's an exterior paint with colors so bright and so beautiful you won't believe your eyes. Behr Premium Plus, the paint made with pure, clean titanium. Behr Premium Plus, available at Beaver Lumber.
The Flyers, like a lot of other teams, have their best success against the Smythe division. And the Jets as well are like a lot of other teams. They don't have as much success against the Patrick as they do against the other three.
2.5 minutes to go. Face off to the right of Essenson. Fedek with the go-ahead goal. He's got family and friends in from Yorkton to watch him. And it's a big marker at this point. Boughton to Olesen. For Keith Tkachuk. Into the Flyer zone. Goes to the corner after it. Into the other corner for Solani. He left it and Eklund brings it out for Philadelphia. Eklund cutting for the goal, right in, scores!
What a great move by Eklund. Take a look as he crosses the blue line, how he looks Boughton off of the puck. It appeared that he was going to drop it, to Dineen. Solani thought he had picked it up, and watch Eklund now. He looks back to drop it right here, but decides not to. Sees some ice and does an incredible job of sheltering the puck and making a great move on Essensa. It's worth another look. Right here, you think he's going to lay it back to Dineen, but he keeps going. This is a heck of an art to be able to cut in this sharp when you're as close to the goal line as Eklund was. He did an outstanding job in executing. Another unassisted goal by the Flyers. Lindros had one in the second period as well.
Goals by Fedek and Eklund came a minute and 17 seconds apart. And the Flyers up by 2 with 1:40 to go in the third. Jamnoff to Numanen at the point. His shot deflects. I think it Lindros in the helmet. Puck goes high over the glass. And they'll face off in the Flyer zone to the left of Soderstrom.
Well, a lot of people ask about Eric Lindros, but you can't forget that he's 20 years old. He's making a couple of $1 million a year. And if anything, he's just a little immature and inexperienced. And as that grows and he gets a little bit more maturity, I'm sure people will have a few more opinions about him. But at this stage, he still has lots to learn, and nobody knows that more than he does. He has a real thirst for knowledge, and in particular about the game of hockey. John Paddock now uses this opportunity to test his team in pulling their goaltender. It's a situation that doesn't arise very often, but in the playoffs, one that can make the difference between pulling your golf clubs out or coming back to play hockey. So even though it's unlikely that you can score a pair of goals, that opportunity exists, but more importantly, it's a chance under game conditions to see how your team reacts when they're looking for a key goal in the dying seconds of a hockey game.
So the Jets' net is empty. They'll have Tkachuk, Steen, Numanen, Housley, and Solani. Face-off will be to the left of Tommy Soderstrom. Bob Essensa on the bench. Jets down by 2 with a minute and a half remaining in the third. Numanen plays it back to Housley. The wrist shot wide of the net. Solani tied up on the other side. Here's Dineen racing down the right wing. To Eklund. Has Brindamore with him. Eklund shoots way off the target. Housley behind the net. Gives it to Numanen. Dineen trying to forecheck Steen for Winnipeg. On the left side to Solani. Steen left it behind the net for Jamnoff. To Solani along the boards. Less than a minute to go in the third. 4-2 Flyers. Steen behind the net. To Solani in the corner. Tkachuk setting up in front. Solani to Steen, side of the goal for Housley. Eklund checks him and clears it for Philadelphia. Numanen backing up. To Solani. Housley to Steen. Across to Tkachuk. Tried to center it right onto the stick of Brindamore, and he banked it off the boards to center. Housley with 24 seconds left. Orsato knocks it back to Housley. Numanen. Pass intercepted by Fedek. Knocked down by Housley. Solani, time running out for the Jets. To Tkachuk. Nice move on Galley. Tkachuk passes behind Orsato with 6 seconds to go. Housley. Long shot wide of the net, and the hockey game is over.
It's a very entertaining hockey game that at times wasn't real exciting, but the times where it was exciting certainly made up for it. The Winnipeg Jets, perhaps not quite as patient as they should have been. Bill Dineen and the Philadelphia Flyers played a textbook road game, and what is really key in the success the Flyers had tonight has got some big performances from the likes of Lindros, and then a key insurance goal by Eklund.
It was a short one, Jim, only lasting 2 hours and 22 minutes. Solani tied it in the third for the Jets, but Fedek and Eklund scoring after that to give the Flyers their third win in a row. The final score tonight was the Flyers 4 and the Jets 2. In just a moment, we will have the Molson Cup 3-star selection.
Is this your average house pet?
Ernie, 12 big. Recognize anyone?
Ernie, is this your average beer? Molson Special Dry. Starts bold, finishes clean with no aftertaste.
First time he took off like that.
Really?
Molson Special Dry. The evolution of beer.
Whether you're riding for pleasure or to put yourself to the test, you want your miles to be trouble-free. At Athletes Wear, we've got a great selection of bikes. Pull ahead of the pack with the Leader mountain bike with Shimano 15-speed gears for easy shifting. All steel frame, fully guaranteed. Regular $239, now only $199. Make the right choice. Athletes Wear, now with 3 great locations, all open Sunday.
The choice is there. Athletes Wear.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are tonight's Molson Cup 3 stars as selected by Joe Pascucci from CKND TV. Tonight's first star, the Flyers' number 88, Eric Lindros. Tonight's second star, the Jets' number 6, Phil Housley. And tonight's third star, the Flyers' number 11, Kevin Dineen.
So to recap, the Molson Cup 3 stars tonight. Eric Lindros, star number 1, a goal and an assist. From the Winnipeg Jets, star number 2, Phil Housley with his 18th goal. And the third star from the Philadelphia Flyers, Kevin Dineen, with an assist tonight, but an all-around strong game. The overall Molson Cup standings for the Winnipeg Jets, Teemu Solani leads with 115 points, Bob Essensa with 80, Housley 70, Jamnov with 55. Our Molson Bach Reserve telecast continues in a moment. We'll be talking with Eric Lindros.
If you're looking for the refreshing taste of Miller Genuine Draft in a light beer, Molson introduces Miller Genuine Draft Light. It puts cold in a whole new light.
Thank you, Manitoba, from the giant Eastwood Jeep Eagle on Regent Avenue West in Winnipeg. Thank you for making us #1 in volume in Manitoba, #1 in customer satisfaction. And to show our appreciation, for a limited time only, we're offering North America's most exciting sports car, the Eagle Talent. From $14,985, cash rebates from Chrysler Canada up to $3,000, or 2.9 financing. Now, why would you go anywhere else? Call 661-5337 today.
Here lies the secret of Mohawk's ethanol-blended gasolines. It's a renewable resource that helps your car run cleaner and to conserve our environment. It's pure prairie green. As the folks at Mohawk proudly say, we struck wheat. This fill-up will burn up to 40% cleaner than your ordinary fill-up because it's Mohawk ethanol-blended gasoline made from pure prairie grain, a gasoline that's full of goodness. As the folks at Mohawk proudly say, we struck wheat.
Only one transportation company has been singled out for special recognition of its quality service, Reimer Express. Nobody else serves all of Canada, and especially Western Canada, with more dependability. Nobody delivers better, faster, or at a more cost-effective price. And nobody dares challenge our exclusive guarantee, on time or free. Reimer Express, Canada Award winner for business excellence in quality.
Imagine if all the things in life were as tasty as the things in Twix. Creamy peanut butter, milk chocolate, together with a cookie crunch that goes snap. Twix, one of life's great tastes.
Well, this fan is certainly happy Eric Lindros came to Winnipeg tonight, but the Winnipeg Jets may not be as happy as Eric Lindros with a goal and an assist. The Philadelphia Flyers defeating the Winnipeg Jets 4-2. And Eric talked with Rod Brindamore earlier in the second intermission, talked about the inconsistency, the problem for the Philadelphia Flyers this season. Not in the last 3 games, though. Philadelphia Flyers winning all those 3.
Oh, I think we've adapted a new system around here. I think that, you know, when you start looking at where you are in the standings, you got to look at, you know, what can be accomplished with the amount of time left. And we adapted a little bit of a different system, and it seems to be working.
I know this has probably been a difficult season for you, besides the court case, but the fact of the injuries and how it hurt the Philadelphia Flyers and their chances for making the playoffs.
Well, we had a lot of injuries around here. I think a key one was Claude Boivin, who, you know, is a big winger. We haven't got a whole lot of big wingers at times. And he's one that can really go out and hurt people with his hits. And losing him was a big loss. Pelle Eklund, we've lost him for a great part of the year. And you know, obviously some of our goaltenders have been up and down.
And your injury earlier in the season put the Flyers in a hole that they really haven't been able to dig themselves out of. But in the last couple of months, you're a .500 hockey team and playing well of late.
Well, we do have a lot of you know, really good players around here. I think that we have to put it together consistently every night. We have to have good goaltending. We have to keep the shots down, and we're going to get chances, you know, in the offensive zone.
You got some chances today in the second period. You scored the goal, and let's have a look at it right now.
Okay. I sort of forechecked there at the blue line, and the puck squirted through and brought it from my backhand to my forehand and just slid it underneath him.
That was your 39th goal of the season. I know 1992 was a busy year for yourself. You played with Canada's Olympic team, the World Hockey Championships, of course, upcoming. Have you been approached yet by Mike Keenan and Roger Nielsen to join the squad?
Well, I guess there's been a lot of speculation about what's going on. I've talked to Mike about some things. You know, it's there. I think it's a decision that you got to make that's going to be made upstairs. It's not always, you know, whether I want to do it or can do it. You know, you got to look at injuries, and I think that, you know, maybe resting a knee or something. I'd like to blow and play, but, you know, I don't make all the decisions.
All right. You were mentioning about the fact of coming to a Canadian city and the difference about playing in the American cities and coming back home here to Canada.
Well, you're, you know, with the baseball going now and in the fall with the football, you know, even that Final Four. I mean, we were on some of the highlights. We didn't even make the, you know, the first 20 minutes of a sports show. So you know, coming to Canada, you're obviously, you know, first page. It's a lot of fun. I think hockey is a great sport and can be a great sport and can be first page in the States. I think there's been a lot of mention about not changing the game. It's having people change to like the game. And you know, the hockey's a great game. You know, you talk about the fighting and things like that. I don't think too many people are going to sit down in their seats when you know, Ty Domi takes on, you know, one of the tougher guys around. You know, anyone like that. I think people are interested in it. It's part of the game. I don't think you're going to change it.
And players like yourself and the Jets' Teemu Selanne will help sell the sport in the years down the road.
He's obviously doing a great job, isn't he?
Another goal tonight, 74 in the season, tying him with Alexander McGillney. Eric Lindros, thank you very much for joining us tonight. The Philadelphia Flyers defeating the Winnipeg Jets by a score of 4-2. Game tied at 2, and it was the Crazy Eights line of Fedek and Recchi and Eric Lindros that combined to set up the winning goal by Brent Fedek. And here it is. The Winnipeg Jets go down to defeat the Philadelphia Flyers 4-2. Looking at the updated Smythe standings, the Winnipeg Jets stay right where they are with 81 points, 2 back of the Los Angeles Kings, who are playing the Calgary Flames, and the Flames trailing the Vancouver Canucks by 3 points in the Smythe. Coming up next on our Molson Jets hockey telecast, we'll go around the NHL. Scoreboard update is next.
You wake up one morning and even before the light hits your eyeballs, you know it's going to be your day. Somehow there'll be a car in the driveway with no top, twin cams, 200 horses, and your name on it. And some new girl who's got eyes like blue lasers will magically appear in your history class, which is otherwise filled with squawkers and tweeters. And when she smiles, she will not be smiling at the guy behind you, and she will not just want to be friends with you, and you will not do something stupid like stare at her body and blow it. You'll connect with her like a bolt of lightning through a cloud and drink from the same Coke, because there's always got to be a day that belongs to you and a dream that does come true. And hey, if it's tomorrow instead of today, there's always Coke.
Will you still feed me for $1.64? Well, here's a really big deal from Pizza Hut. Buy one specially medium pizza and get a second medium cheese pizza for just $1.64. Plus, you could win one of 3 cars, including a classic Studebaker, or $4,000 cash and a trip for 2 to see Paul McCartney live. Paul, winning is easy, and Pizza Hut feeds me for $1.64.
When it's time to kick back, what Eat More gives is dark, chewy toffee loaded with peanuts. Real chewy and not too sweet tasting. So what Eat More takes is time. Eat More. It's a real long chew.
There's a new Spirit in Manitoba. The 93 GMC Sierra.
505. So do you still think you're seating tomorrow? Aren't you?
In the Eastern Conference, but Mario Lemieux has played only 10 games this season. He will play no more today. Number 66 has gone back to Pittsburgh. Back spasms again. So one of the greats of the NHL will not be in Winnipeg. He has not played here in 3 years. One of the other greats, perhaps the greatest player in the National Hockey League, Wayne Gretzky.